Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Click R3 number 52. Very normal time slot and everything. So we had a bit of a snafu communication with good old Twitter X. And, well, we're here now. So it's all good. Ryan, how's it going?
I'm doing all right, John. How about you?
Good. I'm good. I'm good. I am ready for a week. That's what's happening. A week. Yes. Everything
Yes.
going down is crazy online right now.
Yes. I mean, have you been looking, John? That's what I want to know. Have you been peeking?
At all the
Did you,
GTA 6 leaks? Oh,
you
yeah.
you have.
Oh, every one of them. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Are you active? You're actively avoiding them?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know they're there. I've read the, brief descriptions, but I'm refraining.
You're
I'm
just
pers-
waiting for
I'm
the official reveal.
I'm personally refraining. Well, here's the thing, right? The even the official reveal, I would assume, is not going to show the game in the manner that the leaks are showing it. So even that, you're technically seeing the game in a very, not fully presented way by the time it launches in November. The game's not even done. I mean, when you really
Right.
think about it, the game's not done. They're going to be working on it till not only the better end, but well beyond as well. So
It is funny, all the leaks, like whoever's recording it, their HDR is messing up their video capture. So it's really funny. Like it's that thing where it looks all like kind of gray. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like that where it's messed up from the HDR that whatever they're recording with it is putting out, which people are saying it's a PC build. So I still don't really know how that's even possible that they'd be getting hit with HDR
So
like
they're
that.
not. Yeah, that sounds. It's got to be a console build. So they're not tone mapping it. They're all the footage is coming out messed up.
Yeah. It's funny. The footage gets better every time they post something. It's really weird. It's almost like they're learning in real time how to capture footage. But it's getting better and better, like the stuff they're posting. It's now it's funny, the leaks that they're putting out are actually making me more excited for the game.
Well, I mean there is that, right? It's still a game people are excited for. So I'm sure seeing it. I've seen people are blown away by it. They're
Yeah,
like, man, I can't believe the
there's
scale
some
of the
pretty impressive
city.
stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the position of I don't want to see them because I am still excited for the game, but I'd like to see it, kind of the way a normal consumer would see it, not fully diving into the leaks.
It's kind of weird because it's like the way the group, I should say, is doing this.
Yeah,
The cyber leaks, they're tying it to like a cryptocurrency, and they're actively encouraging people to put money in to get to a certain threshold. And there's a lot of questions around how the stuff is being handled with the cryptocurrency because people are watching transactions go back and forth, and cuts are being sent to the it's a whole thing right now. But they know what the suggest. They suggested, like, oh, go to the strip club, and then immediately, like, the amount of money explodes that's coming in because everyone's like,
yeah.
oh, well, yeah, let's do that.
I mean,
So
this is a huge deal. I mean, I know we're talking about it so candidly, but as far as news goes, this is like groundbreaking news. Like, to have this game, which we all expect is going to be the biggest entertainment product launch in history, and doesn't have a physical, which, conceivably there's certainly that aspect of that gives Rockstar and Take-Two far more coverage on preventing another leak, which seemingly didn't do anything because basically a clip a day has been coming out.
yep.
That's and it's been what has it been a full week yet? It's clip 7 now. I think they're on
Yeah, no,
something
they're on
like
clip
that.
11. Clip 11.
11. Okay, way more. Yeah, I'm not even watching them, so I'm certainly missing a few here and there. But yeah, this group's been promoting cryptocurrency leaks, and dude,
Yep, they have a
how
leak of
pissed.
them flying over the city in a plane. Like, they're doing all this stuff.
I mean, so I'm not sure if did Rockstar or Take Two really subpoena Discord, or it sounds like they didn't do that. I didn't look
There
at this yet.
there was a report that they did because they had like court documents over it, like the actual subpoena. They definitely subpoenaed Microsoft, and
Okay.
now Discord responded saying that we will cooperate, as much as we can, looking at this.
Mhm.
So, and they also, with X, they subpoenaed them, and they're just trying to get to the bottom of who the problem is. Also, for them, so many fake accounts have popped up. They have to like sort through all the noise to even try to come up with who's doing this, and
Right.
they have not been able to yet. That Bloomberg report said that they were like scrambling, within Rockstar, and as
Oh,
you
yeah.
assume they would be, because this is something they try to keep a lid on for a while, up until this Netflix thing that's happening in what, 2 days now, well, 2.5 days now from the time of this recording. So it's man, it's crazy over there, I'm sure.
It's mind blowing to have this much footage come out, all like not out of context, but it's like this is not on the terms where they wanted to present the game. Like they've got to be so pissed.
I mean, apparently this footage, it seems like this is a year-old build because people identified a song that was in the
Yeah.
build from 2025, but the people are already like looking at all the things they can for the Rockstar attention to detail, and there's some pretty crazy things in this build that is old as well, though. Like when you're driving past a tree, and if it's like overhanging the road and you kind of clip it a little bit, the branch will move up away from the car like you would expect it to in real life. And when he robs a convenience store, which is, I mean, shocking. Grand Theft Auto, right? I don't think anyone's like, oh no, you could actually do that. Yes, you go to the convenience store, you can rob it, and when they go to take it, the money, he actually like goes into individual till like holders to get the money out of it, and it's all shown through an animation, and you going in. So it's so interesting. They did a lot, and the NPCs are so reactive. Like it's kind of weird with what they were showing. It looked like they were very aware of your presence anywhere. The person went into the club and pulled out binoculars in the club, and the NPCs were like, "What is he doing?" Like, "What are you doing?" when he looked at him. So it's quite interesting how they have this set up. It makes me wonder if they are really leaning into the role playing stuff for the multiplayer then, and we're seeing a little inclination of that in these NPCs and the single player.
Well, I'm still excited for the extended look because now I'm curious. Oh, I'm curious as to. I mean, are we here? Do we think that's like 20 to 30 minutes? Like it should.
I have to assume it's more than 20 minutes at least.
It has to be pretty substantial, and so like for that, I'm thinking, okay, 20, 30 minutes. You've got a lot of ground to cover, and I am sort of thinking it's that typical Rockstar presentation of somebody's just narrating it, and you're getting a lot of pretty heavy cuts to here's the thing you can do. Here's the thing you can do. Here's the attention to detail, and then here's the character. Here's a quick synopsis. And in 20 minutes plus, you can get a lot done. So I'm wondering how much they'll show, which is going to sort of obviously corroborate all the footage we've seen up to this point,
Yeah, and also we'll see it in the correct color scheme or tone or whatever. And I'm sure it'll look really good because they're going to show us the best possible view of it. I'm kind of curious if there's a follow-up to this or if this is it before launch.
The extended look.
Yeah, is this it? This is like, hey, once you see this, that's it, and we'll see you in November.
I feel like the extended look would be it, but they would still do like, sort of fat, like shorter trailers. I mean,
Right.
it's been so long since GTA 5, but I can't help but think of the GTA 5 rollout and also splashing in like Rockstar's general methodology of showcasing games. It's like GTA 5, they did that extended video, but that was really it. And then you had like a Michael trailer, Trevor trailer.
Sure.
And then those were like a minute long, if that, like, cause they really they don't show a lot of these games right up until release, but obviously this one's going to be a lot different. So I'm not sure how much more they're going to do outside of that extended look.
I mean, the pre-orders already are going crazy, apparently. Near 5 million pre-orders.
Yeah, I heard that. I thought that's it.
Really? Really? That sounds like a lot. They made like $480 million. Apparently, the majority are the $100 version.
I know. I honestly, I was like, what? I was really thinking possibly more.
That's crazy to me that you can make almost $500 million and never show gameplay.
Well, I mean, there's very few publishers that can do that, and they're one of them,
And also, I mean, pre-ordering this far out, I really don't know why you would even do that, like digitally. I don't get it.
I mean, I will say, like when I don't know about you, John, but when I was younger, that concept did extend to me. And this was the naivety of like back then you really didn't need to pre-order. But like when I was younger, I would have felt the need to pre-order just because like my like kid math was like, okay, if I put down another $10 on this game,
sure.
I'm only going to owe 30. And so maybe some people are just sort of like, let me pay it and clear it by then.
Yeah, I mean that I understand the idea you're saying because it was for the physical copy, and some games would just legitimately sell out. So there was, and if you're in the special edition, you have to pre-order basically. But I get the idea of every week, and I would see this when I was at GameStop forever ago now, Stone Age days at this point, and someone would come in every week or every other week, and they're months out from the release, and they put $10 down, and they put $10 down, and it would pay off that way. And after a while, I was like, it makes sense. I know I remember the person, they'd come in every week and usually put $10 on one of their pre-orders that were coming out. Like, they'd start setting up in May for October, November games and just come in and consistently put money on them. And then that holiday, they'd come in and they just pick up like 4 or 5 games throughout that run, and they'd already paid them all off. So I get that.
Right.
The digital thing is just weird because you can't do that, for one. Like, you have to just pay it all at once. And then 2, it's not going to sell out. So for me, it's more of, this is a preload. So if I want this digital game the day before, even then I would buy it and just get it loaded up. You know what I mean? That's kind of in my mind, how I'd go about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as even, but I wonder if there is like a bit of that at play of just people wanting to like I'm going to buy the game. Let me just spend the money. And then it feels like just a free thing it's like girl math, basically. Like we all, I think on a certain subconscious level tend to do that.
Like, as aspects, so I got the money now. Why not pre-order? It's like, okay, that's a good point too. If you got the money and you're like, I just want to get this done another way. I get it. I do. I understand.
I totally did that as a kid. Like, it wasn't until I got older and I was like, I now realize, like, even with the whole fact that this was still physical retail, like, this is a big game. They're going to print a lot of them. Like, I don't have to.
Not anymore.
Unless you
now I have to. I have to pre-order all my physical games if I want them.
Unless you want like the little sticker or keychain or that free large T-shirt, and that's all they had was larges for some reason. They never like.
Although today I was at Walmart, they already had Metal Gear Solid Volume 2 collection out on the PS5. So now they're getting it out too early. Can't buy it, but it doesn't go through the register.
Well, I mean, that's still a thing, you know. Well, that's GTA 6. I mean, I guess it's very fast. We didn't have to say much about that outside of how crazy it is.
Well, I mean, I'm curious at this part. Did you see today they were trying to get people to show up in front of Rockstar's offices?
Haven't people been doing that though? Like flying drones up to their offices, looking through windows, and
well, they're telling people to actually go out front of Rockstar with a leak, and apparently with a physical disc. And that seems like a bad idea to just walk up in front of Rockstar and start doing that. That's gonna, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a scenario that has any way to end well for you, the person.
Well, that's a great way to have a police presence now stalking the property.
Yeah, because I mean, Rockstar and Take-Two are very aware of what's happening. There was also a story about that, I don't know, lawyers or a private investigator showing up at someone's house, and that's in question because the person apparently came up with their own little cryptocurrency now that they're pushing, and it's like, there's a lot of people also trying to take advantage of the situation and muddy the waters with some fake accounts, misinformation, whatever, right? Even embellishing the story a bit as to what's happening out there. So and of course there's a story that gets planted about a build being just dropped online, and then wouldn't you know it, there's a torrent that pops up that's like 112 gigabytes, and it's just malware. So like that's why these things are all being coordinated now and trying to just get people to fall for things. So for most people out there, I would just be just an observer. I wouldn't take action on any of this stuff. I would just hang out and just watch what happens.
Well, that's the other thing too. So like Stop Killing Games had to publicly come out and say like, listen, we don't endorse this. We're not affiliated with this. What they're doing is still very illegal. Like we stand for consumer rights, but not the way these people are doing it.
They kind of have to, because Rockstar and Take-Two are going to get very serious about the litigation side of this thing. I mean, they're apparently looking for anyone who even had leaks in like a Discord, for example. Or X, or like passing around in DMs and stuff. Like, hey, here's all the stuff. And it's like, okay, well, where did you get those? They're trying to connect the dots back to where all this stuff came from. So if you're Stop Killing Games, you're actively out there, like, you know, trying to keep the momentum going for physical games by citing this as a good cause. It's like, that's not going to look great in this whole court system push. But something weird about this though, with the whole physical games tied to the cyber leak stuff, it kind of feels like they see an opportunity to use that for the emotional side. I'll be real. I don't know, that seems a little too perfect to be like, this is why we're doing it. Not the crypto coin that we're collecting transaction fees from. Okay. Not that. It's because of the physical media stuff. Okay. Not the millions of dollars from this crypto thing that's coming in. No. the physical games. It's like, oh, okay, are you sure?
Yeah, I would cast serious doubt on the white knighting that's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, it's interesting because we're seeing the game early. I get that, and it's a crazy situation that's unfolding, but I don't know. People are looking at this Cyber League thing as like a Robin Hood or something. I'm like, I don't know if I go that far, but it is interesting to watch unfold. I will admit, it is very interesting.
Yeah, but so the thing is, though, the game is not out until November.
I know that's so we're talking about Netflix, like, oh, that's the finish line. It's like, no,
it's not.
You still have 3 months.
It's like they could. I mean, in theory, based on whatever access of the build that they have, I mean, how much more could okay, so this was you've seen it, right? Have they haven't shown any Lucia gameplay yet?
Okay. Here's what's being voted on right now. And here's while we are doing this podcast, by the way, it could drop. Like I'm just telling you right now. They put up a poll, and one of the things they were trying to get people to go to the Rockstar offices was for Lucia gameplay, right? Okay. So they were voting on it. They said, hey, if we get to a certain amount of money, and then you guys are all voting, what do you want to see? And the option that has 99% right now is Lucia gameplay, but her prologue. So now we're talking about like legit story stuff, because cutscenes have popped up. They've shown cutscenes. And so now people are like, oh, are they actually going to start showing like full on bits of story that just spoils a bunch of stuff? Because then it starts getting into the territory of, that's not good. And for people who've been waiting forever for this game and want to experience it. So that's what's on the table right now. Seems like it's going to win the poll. Go figure, 99%. But once when that poll is done and going on, they just drop it like randomly, sometimes 2 leaks a day. So it very well could happen in the next couple of hours.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing, right? The first, like, I want to say 4-ish clips, the running theory was like, oh, they've got kind of like a particular build that's sort of like landlocked to like the opening game, essentially, like near Jason's house, no Lucia gameplay just yet or anything. So it's like, if they do have access to far more than we think, then that would be for how far away that the game actually is. That is certainly a little spooky, I would say, especially for somebody that I don't want to see the stuff, I'd rather just like wait and play the game on my terms,
Everyone's trying to figure out where it came from too, this build, and how they got it. Because originally we thought they were video clips that they had. So they X amount of them, I don't know, like 10 or something. And they're just posting them over time. But then they spelled out leak, L-E-E-K, and it's like, oh, no, they actually have a build. And now it does actually look like they're playing the game, because they're running these polls and people are deciding what to show. So I don't know. I think the leading theory is that it was a successful phishing attempt in one of their like outsourcing offices or something. That's kind of where at least people are mostly thinking it came from, but it's really hard to say. I mean, there have been some crazy theories of like, oh, this is an ex Rockstar developer who got burned, and they're like, we'll show them. And so it's hard to say, but I mean, eventually, wouldn't it be crazy if all this went down and over the next month and a half they kept dropping leaks, and then eventually they just disappeared, and Rockstar and Take-Two never found this person, and that was it. And that was it.
Yeah,
it just ended that way.
I think it's crazy that they can't find them, because I don't know. You just have to think, due to the nature of like how the build is even launched and running on dev kit hardware. Like, that stuff is like, I don't want to say easy to track, but it's my understanding that it is pretty damn easy to track. Because then you get the console manufacturers involved, and everything's all based into logins and cloud. There's like always a paper trail to everything you do at these companies, even though it's a large studio and you've got hundreds of people working on the game. It's just there is very much an electronic paper trail. I'm surprised they can't somehow pin down where it's coming from, how, especially with the amount of footage too. I don't know. Right. It's just that's surprising to me for sure.
Well, I mean, if it's in another, I assume could be even just some random place in the world that they even have to get to, like send someone to. But it's I don't know. It's gonna be so interesting to follow along to see if they do find this person, because if they do, we're gonna find out all kinds of information about the Cyber League group. So I would refrain from getting too comfortable with them. because you never know what you turn up if they get caught, you know.
Well, we'll see if they do. I mean, God, you'd have to think the book's getting thrown at them.
Oh yeah, no. For the amount of money that it's always like down to how much money is involved. There's a lot of money involved here, and Take-Two, and they would look to make an example out of them because they're like, we don't want to deal with this ever again. And then also, honestly, I'm sure many other publishers in gaming would kind of egg them on to make an example out of them as well because they don't want that to happen to them. So it's they get caught. It's not going to be great when they're up on the stand.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely the big thing going on this week, but we do have some other stuff going on too, obviously. So we got to get caught up here, John. What do you say we go over some news stories?
Let me grab a couple of these real quick. Cool Rip says failed PlayStation blackout, reinstalled Elden Ring. GG's. Well,
right back in Elden Ring.
Yeah, the PlayStation blackout, I guess it is going on right now, right? That is currently active. And it does seem like people are kind of unsure right now about it. I saw some like saying, can we delay it for the Call of Duty beta? I was like, oh man, it's and I think they've moved it to potential indefinite status, by the way.
Well, I mean, the idea is here's a week where everyone can stick to it, and if you can do it longer, then do it. I mean, look, just if people want to do it, let them. I mean, obviously, it's an important issue to them.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, that's I don't get that people actively like pushing back on them doing it. It's like no, they plug your PlayStation, you leave it. That's that. If you want to, you should do it. I think so. Zeron says, hello, Ryan and John. Pronounced John. Thank you. How's the Trails progress? I've played the second demo for 20 hours. It's a 10-hour demo. I'm loving how good of a remake it is. Maybe my game of the year. I am right at the end of the Trails, the Sky first chapter. I am. In the final chapter of first chapter, but I'm like good way into that. So getting to the big climactic finale for it, which I guess technically, as people have said, is obvious lead-in. Go figure to the second chapter. So yes, I'll download the demo, but I'll be done this by the time second chapter comes out, September 17th. But I will download the demo to get a head start because that is the same day as Fire Emblem. So I'd like to get both if I could, and they're both like 80-hour RPGs. So great. Crispy says, "Hey guys, I just bought a PS2. What game should I buy? Maybe one from each of you. Love your pod. Thanks. Man, what game should you buy, dude?"
one each for the PS2. And I mean, the PS2 has hundreds. Just so many good games.
Yeah, but you're going to give them the obvious one, right? Like Jack and Dexter. Or...
Why would you say that, John?
Well, you give them a weird one?
I'll give them a different one. Doesn't have to be Jack and Dexter.
Okay.
Would you, maybe a PS2 game that's still landlocked to PS2? No modern port.
Okay, yeah, sure. No modern port. What do you got?
Okay. I'm actually struggling to think of like a really cool and obscure one that's also not going to cost you an arm and a leg.
I'll go.
A lot of the unique PS2 stuff is like actually mad expensive.
I need to see how much this one is before I just throw it out there.
Oh,
I don't think it's very expensive though. I don't think so.
Some
of these retro prices surprised me a little bit. That was more expensive than I thought it was.
How much?
Like $20 to $30.
Oh, that's not that 20. That's nothing.
I was going to say Matrix Path of Neo.
The Matrix?
Yeah, Path of Neo.
Isn't that the bad one?
No, you're thinking of Enter the Matrix. I'm saying the Matrix Path of Neo, where you actually play as Neo. The first one, remember, you played as two new characters they had as for video games. They tried to like intersect it with the movie, and it was fine back then for what it was.
The bad one.
Path of Neo. I'll go with Path of Neo. That's kind of a weird, obscure one, but I think it encapsulates the that generation pretty well.
Oh no, I was going to recommend like a $200 game, which is like not a good idea.
Oh,
well, it's like obviously like a lot of PlayStation 2 stuff did get ported, so it's like kind of hard. It's not hard to like play some of these games nowadays. But I always think of like one of those unique games is like Tulip, which is like the detective kissing game, but it's like super rare on the secondhand market, and
oh yeah,
it's genuinely pretty pricey.
200 complete?
Huh?
You said 200 complete?
I think 200 complete, 200-300 it might be. It's a wacky game, but it's a cool game.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah. The Two Towers or Return of the King. Those are really fun.
Lord of the Ring game. That's our PS2 recommendation.
That's it, dude. Two Towers is. I'd start. I mean, Two Towers and go to Return of the King, and I bet you they're not even expensive. Those. I can't imagine.
Oh, no flag to Lord of the Ring. It's funny that our
No, my recommendation was Path of Neo, sir.
Okay.
Path of Neo, or you know what, you go with I Ninja. That's a good one.
Somebody said Need for Speed Underground, and that is such a good pick because that game's not going anywhere.
The first one, or I mean, the second one's not going anywhere either.
I like the first one more.
What? Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why. I prefer the first one.
Really? The second one's the one that had like the open world and everything.
I don't want that. I just let me pick the menus. Yeah.
Oh man, you go in open world, you can flash your lights at people on the street and race them, and
I just don't care to do that. Like I was fine just like choosing from the menu events, and then like if I only want to race, and I want to deck out the car with like, you know, a fat spoiler and underglow and decals. That's what I want to do. But that's a good pick.
I Ninja is fun. Yeah, that's right. I Ninja. Let's go. I was playing that the other day.
I mean, it's like a billion PS2 games I would have recommended, but it's like, oh,
Spider-Man 2.
There actually is a way to play that. Like I would have said Katamari, but Katamari's got a PS5 port, or PS4 rather. We love Katamari has a PS5 one.
Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. Why is that one expensive? Hold on, is that just the? Oh, if you get the red greatest hits one, it's like $10.
Are the black labels more?
A little more. I mean, it's okay. This one's like 15 to 20 for that. There was a Lord of the Rings game, and I keep seeing this brought up randomly on social media, where it was a Lord of the Rings game, but it was an RPG like Final Fantasy X.
Actually, I think I wrote this down as a story. Hold on a second.
Oh, Lord of the Rings RPG.
Well, yeah. So like that PS3 one came out just randomly as a remaster.
Yes.
Yeah, here it is right here.
Yeah. Dot hack infection. Hey, dot hack. You go crazy with that. Probably expensive, but
the surprise re-release of the Lord of the Rings War in the North came out on PlayStation 5. And the developer and publisher Aspyr did mention in a press release that you can expect more classic releases from the beloved franchise. So you might get more Lord of the Ring games brought to modern hardware.
If they get Two Towers and Return of the King on modern hardware, that'd actually be pretty awesome. Yeah, I would pick those up.
It sounds like they're looking into it. So you've got an option.
That with like achievements and trophies too. And that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, if you're looking to drop hundreds on a single PS2 game, Futurama or Def Jam.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, Def Jam Fight for New York is very good though. That's a good game.
Yeah.
That's a good game.
And that game, it's just not going anywhere. The likeness and rights of all the rappers game's not going anywhere.
I mean, if you just honestly, if you don't care, I mean, you can just also mod the PS2. I'm just saying.
Yes, you could very much.
You're allowed to mod the PS2.
You can
very easy to do.
Very much steal too as well.
I mean, I'm just saying you can go on Amazon and get the free McBoot card, and then get the SD card, memory card, plug that in second slot, and you just run everything on the SD card. Just try out a bunch of games. Look, if you're really going to collect, you can at least get some good games that way. If you already have them, you can also rip them to the SD card. But you know, you can. Hey, don't look at me. The companies are bringing us to all digital future. Just helping a person here participate in it.
Sure. Just scooting them in the right direction here.
Hey, this is all legacy stuff to me.
It is. It's very, very much is legacy.
They shut the stores down. Don't look at me.
All right, let's get into our regular news stories. Regular, boring old stuff. PS Plus Extra and Premium's August lineup. Right now, these games are live. Helldivers 2, so major PS Studios game on PS Plus Extra. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Vampire Survivors, and then tomorrow on the 25th, because they're doing that staggered thing. So if you're in the US, Japan, or the UK, then Hell is Us, Uma Masume, Pretty Derby, Party Dash, 2 Point Museum, Metro Exodus, and Dying Light 2, which Dying Light 2 is literally on Essential right now.
The stagger thing is weird because next week we're gonna get Essential stuff, right?
Next week they'll announce it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's like maybe that's the whole point of the stagger thing, is literally so they can release something once a week.
I think the whole idea is like have a cadence of like games always coming out on the subscription. Like they kind of don't want a dead window where people, I would think, unsubscribe. So that's my line of thinking. And then on Premium, these are already live as well. Onimusha Dawn of Dreams on PS2 and Disney's Atlantis, The Lost Empire for PlayStation 1. It's Disney, so it's not random.
I mean, just in general to see Atlantis. But somebody said they got it out of a cereal box. I saw that in one of my comments section. I didn't know that was a cereal box game.
It's a cereal box game?
Somebody said they got it. I will, you know what? I will take the YouTube comment. I'll take their word for it.
Okay.
I remember Scrabble and stuff coming out of, or Sorry, coming out of the cereal box for PC. I don't remember PS1 games coming out of them. You don't remember that? You don't remember? You don't remember games in cereal boxes?
I remember PC games in cereal box.
That's what I remember.
Not a PlayStation game though. Not a PlayStation game. But
yep,
we did get
more than one game on premium. Yeah.
I was just gonna say two games on premium. But hold your horses, John. I do have some games leaving PS Plus Extra and Premium on September 15th. So this is more of a PSA here, everybody. But Madden NFL 26, Persona 5 Tactica, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and then Shadowrun Returns, Hong Kong, Dragonfall, Toykoden 2, I think it's called, whatever the hell that game's called. And I forgot the other two games on here, but there's more that are leaving. I did want to call out the games leaving, John, because if you noticed, there are two games on there that are classic titles. And ever since the mid-2022 PS Plus relaunch, we have never had a classic game leave premium. So what's going on here? This, I would think, coincidentally lines up with the upcoming Toy Story Retro Roundup collection.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
That does include Toy Story 3, and we saw on the Xbox store page, because that will have a notice on there, and there is a notice for Toy Story 3, the 360 backwards compatibility edition. That is getting delisted on September 29th. So while we don't have confirmation of this, I am thinking that not only are these games getting taken off premium, but they will be delisted.
Yeah.
So
they want to replace it with a new one.
As a PSA, if you want to make sure these games don't leave your library, you have to buy them. Like, you have to buy them outright to always have access to them. And you might want to do that because Toy Story 3 is the PSP game, and that's like way different from the console versions. So they would actually be fully removing, access to what is like a very different legacy version of the game, which would be a shame. And the weird thing too is that Buzz Lightyear of Star Command is in the remaster collection. That is also on premium. That is not scheduled for PS Plus removal. So I don't really know what's going on there, but I just want to caution and say that we have two classics leaving. You might want to buy them before they possibly get delisted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Moving on to some accessory news here. PlayStation Pulse Elevate speakers. So we have pricing and release date info there. So they come in both white and black. They cost $220 USD, launching November 12th of this year, and pre-orders start on September 1st on PS Direct and participating retailers. Are you going to try these out, John? Thinking about getting them?
I don't think. Well, they're pretty expensive too, but no, I don't think so. I don't think so. No. Are you? I mean, you're the one with all the stuff behind the glass. There, you're gonna get some and put them behind the glass for preservation's sake.
to preserve the speakers.
Yes, sir. The PlayStation speakers.
I don't have enough room for PlayStation accessories, and there's far more of those than there are consoles. So. I think they might be cool though. I mean, they got planar magnetic drivers, which is like a high-end audio tech that was actually brought into a more reasonable price range. So they might actually be good. Let's get into the other main big topic that was going on this past week in PlayStation, in the PlayStation realm, which is more live service troubles, as if that wasn't surprising enough. So we had this new report from Jason Schreier, writing for Bloomberg, based on people familiar with the company's plans and following negative feedback from the closed play tests. Both Sony and Guerrilla Games are overhauling Horizon Hunters Gathering. So apparently Guerrilla has been working on reshaping the game since June, and they're removing all live service elements and making it strictly a traditional co-op game with a story and smaller scope. And there was a studio staff meeting last Wednesday, and they now have a deadline of December to impress SIE. Not looking too good, huh?
No, Horizon Hunters Gathering is... I'm actually to the point now where I'm surprised if this game comes out.
I would actually, given the sort of U-turn for it, I would actually be somewhat, not fully, but somewhat bummed if it gets canceled now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they release it as a smaller scope project and it won't have the live service stuff involved, and they just put it out for like, I don't know, $30 or $40, and it's like, this is the game. that's it. We're not going to stick around and run a whole live service campaign where we're with it for years. It's like there'll be updates. It'll be like the Ghost Yote Legends where maybe they have another content drop and they're like, we're done. That's fine, because then to me, I actually just see it as just another game release and not as them trying this live service thing. But it's just, I mean, we've seen this over and over again this generation from Sony, so it's not even really surprising at this point. I mean, Hunter's Gathering, unfortunately, it got shown and it was just immediately on its back foot. There's just the art style is maybe Sony will learn, but the art style is really important for this kind of stuff for live service games, because you got Fortnite and then you got Fortnite Horizon, I guess. And I mean, that was one of the biggest criticisms, like, look at this thing. Look at it. People didn't even play the game. I didn't even know how it worked. And I looked at it and said, man, that's Fortnite. All right. And
that's a shame. I think it looks pretty.
Really? I feel like my problem was I looked at it. I felt I'd seen it before.
I mean, the weird thing is, like, the actual Horizon games at NC Soft,
it looks better.
Like that one looks like that looks like Gorilla made it, you know? It's like, that's the one that looks like Gorilla made it. And, you know, if we even humor the idea of a live service Horizon game, like, that one actually has the elements that you would expect. And it almost, you know, if you're into Horizon, it's like, oh, that'd be the one to play versus this, you know?
That is the thing that's so weird to me. And I was really confused when it's like, why are there 2 Horizon live service games? Like, why 2? Why isn't it just, hey, you know what? We'll work with NC Soft and make sure that game's also on the PS5. And then we don't have to sit around working on Hunter's Gathering. I don't really understand why there's 2 of them.
I don't either, but I mean, the timeline, as I understand it, is that the game was kicked up, the co-op one, in 2018. You know, and it was always meant to be this sort of, because you got to picture 2018. So this is a year after the first Horizon came out. Yes. They already see that, like, okay, we actually, like, we made a new IP and it's actually great. And I think we have to, like, sort of remember to put ourselves back in that time of, like, that was like an exciting release for PlayStation history. Like, it was a genuinely cool new IP. And the series is still sold 38 million something copies, obviously. But, like, back then you'd think, okay, let's do, like, this sort of offshoot thing. A very small team started that in 2018. You had a core team working on the sequel. And much further down the line is when the NC Soft deal happened. And, you know, that's in South Korea, where it seems like the labor force and sort of how they can get up and running, that just seemingly they just got something off the ground way faster.
And probably cheaper.
And so I almost would think that there was just a sort of financial upside of, like, well, look at how much progress they're making. And, you know, that it's like one of those specialty studio things of, like, find somebody else that knows what they're doing to do this thing. And they'll have the autonomy to understand that, okay, this is like, we'll make basically a mobile game in this, like, PC emulation container. So it's a mobile game and you can play it on PC. And, like, it seems like they had a lot of autonomy to, like, kind of do what they want to do. And they just, at the time, that's how they wanted to make the game. No console version. It looks so stupid in practice, and I agree. But I would think that's how this played out. You know, the co-op thing was well before the NC Soft game.
Right. But this is where you would expect them to have some ability to pivot if they recognize there being at least somewhat of an issue. And I'm telling you, if I was in the focus group and they walked in and showed me that, I'd be like, what are you doing? Why does it look like this? I mean, honestly, if they want the serious feedback, I'm like, guys, it just, you know what it is? It feels like the live service games they show us are just behind a couple of years. It always feels like they're off by, like, they're just a little in the past.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If this game started up in 2018, it kind of tells you the product of a time that it's from, you know?
Yeah. It's like, there's no inability. I guess like an inability. I don't know, a vision or.
So for you, is it just an art style thing? Like, if we're still talking about, let's say it looks like a Horizon game, the mainline ones, but it is a 3-player co-op. Like, does the actual gameplay pitch, like, hook you or no?
I mean, my thing was always with Horizon, if you're going to do a multiplayer and you really want it to be a multiplayer game where it's, you know, somewhat of an open area, and it would be Monster Hunter, right? That's kind of the idea. It's like, it's gonna be Monster Hunter the Robot Dinosaur. So in that sense, I get it. I really do feel like the art style hurt it badly. I think that
Right.
is like the biggest thing is that art style. Because think about it this way: with Horizon, maybe they don't want to admit it. I don't know. One of the big drawing factors of Horizon is that it is an impressive game from the technical side. It's every single time it has been, right? When they did Horizon Zero Dawn, that was a pretty big aha moment for not only the base PS4 but also the PS4 Pro. That's a big deal. It like really, really looked cool there. Just the art direction was awesome alone, but the fact that visually speaking, it was like top tier, and Guerrilla is able to do that in an open world with this engine that they have. And then when they do Horizon Forbidden West, same thing. Super impressive looking. I know it was also a PS4 game, but then we got Burning Shores and I played that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like visually speaking, it's incredible. So I've now been built up and trained to understand when Horizon shows up, and you can even kind of say the VR game a little bit. I know that wasn't them who made it. It was Firesprite who made it. Still though, for a VR game, it had, a nice visual look to it. There was a lot of little things to do, obviously their hands to try to show off the sense controllers or whatever. Either way, I've always gone into Horizon thinking I'm going to be impressed visually. And then they show up with a game that has the Horizon name, but actually looks like the cell phone version. And then NCSoft has the console version, but on cell phones. So it's this really weird thing. And that's the part that made me feel like they were chasing. And maybe that's what it is. A lot of these live service games that they've shown up with, that Concord felt like they were trend chasing the hero shooter genre, but they were 2 years behind. And then here comes this Horizon game that just by the look of it feels like they're behind and they're chasing this trend. And I guess the feedback they got for the gameplay wasn't where they wanted it. And the way that they're talking about pivoting though, Ryan, where they're going to remove live service games, feels like they just don't want to invest too much more beyond its release. And they're like, this might not be it, but we might still be able to sell it.
Well, that's what I hope would happen. I like the franchise. So for me, this thing was like just teetering on the edge of like, I'll play it because I don't care for live service games either. I don't even care for co-op games, but they had said initially like, oh, we have a campaign. It's like, it's a story campaign. It's an original story. You can play with NPCs. The second they said that, I'm like, oh, thank God. Cause I would like to, it looks neat to me. So they just barely hooked me. I feel like this game sort of is salvageable, which couldn't be said for like the other live service projects that they were working on. Fundamentally, if you're spending 4 to 5 years establishing from the ground up a live service game that has to be monetized, like this was the sort of softest one of the bunch in that it was a co-op, sort of Monster Hunter-esque game. So
right.
I actually think I know I'm in very little company here when I say this. I'm like, okay, cool. Give me like a little, like spit this thing out for $40. Just give me like a 12-hour campaign. You don't monetize any more than that. And, Horizon fans get to enjoy it because that's like, I'm a Horizon fan. So I do want to play the game. And I personally I think it's a very pretty looking game. I think I still would have preferred like the normal Horizon look, but it's just like when you have the NCSoft game there, it does look really, really weirdly awkward that it took them this long to make this game. And now it has to backpedal on the elements that they were trying to make it, trying to establish within it. And then you just sign a deal with another company and they whip this thing up in like I think it was 2 years or something from signing that deal. Like there's images of the NCSoft CEO with Jim Ryan at the time. And then 2 years later, we get just crazy gameplay of what looks like a proper Guerrilla Horizon game. And oh, by the way, it's supposed
to come out next. I think it's coming out next. They said 2027. I think.
I think because I think it was basically delayed. Like they said they were going to show more of it or something, and it's been MIA. So, but even if the game does come out in, let's say 28, the speed of which that game came out versus this would have been pretty impressive.
But that's kind of how it has to be in live service games. It's got to be kind of a quick turnaround. Like this is where I think some of maybe the clashing within Sony is that you have studios that do like to take their time because they have a certain level they try to hit with their single player games. And I just don't think it translates over well to what is I mean, seriously, it's like a conveyor belt of live service. Like you gotta go. It's gotta be quick. And sometimes it's rough around the edges, but honestly, the audience that is like attracted to these kind of games on phones or yeah, on consoles, but they're free to play games for the most part. So I feel like they're more forgiving with some of this stuff as opposed to, oh, wait, this actually costs me money up front. And then there's a battle pass. And yeah, so I just think Sony is in over their head on a lot of this live service stuff. They got Horizon, they got MLB The Show, they got Gran Turismo. I honestly think the move, I don't think they should stop with the live service stuff. I think they need to approach it differently. I think, like, let's just take NCSoft. I think that's what you should do. Find studios, partner with them that are not your main single player drivers, your big studios, and see what you can get out of like plant some seeds, go around, see what you can get out of them. And yeah, like you mentioned, NCSoft is not in the US, so that does help when it comes to cost of developing the game. And as we see, turnaround time, go around, let them handle it. And do what Sony's kind of always done. You're not going to do it with NCSoft, I get it, but there might be some studios you kind of just find and you're like, wow, they did a really good job with this. Maybe we should look into bringing them into the PlayStation family because they've already done this. Now, I know the concern is they're going to do what Arrowhead's doing and they're just going to go off and self-publish, but that's kind of the risk you take. They didn't want to be bought. You know, some studios may want to be bought. So I think that's the strategy. Don't tie up your single player big studios that can make a name for obviously maybe a new IP that they come up with or help to push your hardware, you know, for the PS6. But like the thing that gets me about this, and I know this has kind of been known, but now I'm really trying to place a timeline on it, Ryan. As you mentioned, you're a big Horizon fan. I like the Horizon series. I'm also not exactly thrilled with the idea that, oh, after the second one ended, kind of thought we might wrap the trilogy up on the PS5.
In the same report, Jason closes it out by reaffirming that right now most of Guerrilla Games is working on Horizon Hunter's Gathering. There's a tiny team working on the next single player game, and that seems to be years away. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I think Horizon's like, gosh, might be 2029.
I would think further. This was surprising to me because Guerrilla's kind of like a Naughty Dog and Insomniac, like they're big. They have hundreds of staff. I don't have the exact number, but you know, usually you have that sort of angle of, yes, the majority of the studios on one game, they naturally funnel into another as one's wrapping up. And it sounds like this one was eating up more than I thought it was. Because then you would hope that there's certainly some people working on Horizon 3, but now they've got a deadline of December to even try to salvage this one.
Which means it's not coming out in December.
Bogus.
They just need to try to show that they can do something with it, which means, so this Hunter's Gathering game would come out sometime in 2027 is the expectation then. Could be halfway through, could somehow end up in the fall. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to, although they have to still kind of support a little bit, not a ton. They can leave a small crew on it, but now we can move over to Horizon 3. And it's like, oh, wow. What that makes me think, though, is that the PS5 is just not going to get that dedicated Horizon game. It's going to be a cross-gen game with the PS6.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, they're just such a big studio. Like I'm wondering how small he means by that, because you have to have people naturally move over to the other one. The only good thing that Horizon 3 has going for it is that it's a third entry in an established IP. Yeah, so I mean that's like establishing new IP is the thing that takes
that's
way
the thing. That's
too long.
Why I think it's 2029. That's optimistic from my view, apparently, as people are thinking online right now. Maybe it's the fact that it's going to be based on Aloy. They're going to have many characters already set up and made, NPCs, not necessarily that exact world, but you know, like they have tree number 340 or something, you know, ready to go, so they already have a nice toolbox to pull from and a ton of assets. But they still need to put it together, man. And game development just takes forever right now. So I think that's the thing because people talk about the money they've spent. And honestly, I don't really care that much about the money they spend because they tell us they make a lot of money. So it's like, okay, well, they can make up for it. They can. Man, it's the opportunity cost. It's the time. Man.
Yeah. That time's the most valuable thing. I mean, that was making headlines too, is that when Jason like put up a separate video on his channel, because he's doing that now, which is cool. But this isn't new info, but he like reaffirmed this idea that like That was the same thing with Naughty Dog. That was not a small team on The Last of Us Online. It was a lot of people on that game. Same with Ben. Ben was spending a lot of time on trying to do a live service game, and that was killed too. So as far as the single player studios that did, have that window of trying to do it, I think they've learned the hard way that this ain't it. But like that's the main issue, John. You were talking about this a little bit. You're right. They have to do it differently. These are single player studios that have a certain way of making games. And this is why, like I mentioned this with Concord, like the big Concord problem was, one, the game was like, you said I think like 10 years late. That game probably could have, like maybe in 2016, that game would have found an audience, but I digress. You can't just like make a live service game from start to finish, totally polished, and just think it's going to find an audience. It's way too saturated nowadays. Like you have to do the Valve approach, or like any other like sort of early, like just put out a playable as fast as you can, because that's going to do a few things. One, it's going to determine if it's going to live or not. Right away, it doesn't matter if it's, a 0.1 version of the game, like let people play it. Is the gameplay loop there? Then the community will shape it over time. Then you can have a proper 1.0 launch. Like Pal World did this. Valve's doing that with Deadlock. Like you have to sort of, it's a different way of making games. And Naughty Dog, for example, or Firewalk, for example, like they're talented teams. They can make good shit. Apparently The Last of Us Online was actually really, really fun. But just making the game is the first problem. Then maintaining it for the foreseeable future is even like they just have to rewire how they make games.
Yeah.
So like I think they've learned that now. It's sort of wave 2. I'll be blown away if they somehow do a wave 2 and it looks the same as this first one. Like it's
if that happens though, Ryan, is it? I mean, people already have Herman Holst on the hot seat, dude. If this happens, if we go through another cycle of this, and all of a sudden, like a bunch of studios again run into issues, and they're like, "Well, now they gotta look to something else." It's like, people have been saying this a lot, and I'll admit, little surprised Herman's still kind of in control of anything anymore. Although we don't actually know where he lies within Sony. He's head of the studios or whatever, but it's like, how much is he actually the head? You know what I mean? There's still questions, because there's a lot of people who make these decisions, but he gets paid to be the person at the top with this picture where he's arms folded looking sideways. So he's, I mean, that's the one you see on Variety or whatever, but he gets paid to kind of take the fall for this stuff, or at least the public view. But it's somebody within Sony, man. I don't know who's making the decisions, who's greenlighting, if it's Herman or if it's a group of people.
I mean, it's
they might need to recalibrate. Yeah, well, they got to recalibrate, because it just feels like they don't have the vision right now for what live service is looking for.
I mean, it's Herman, and I think based on the current corporate structure is, I mean, they did the co-CEO thing, which is kind of a weird setup, but it then turned into they both have CEO roles, but it's Nishino that makes the final call. So I would presume Herman runs it through Nishino. And I would assume Nishino runs everything through Hiroki Totoki. And, each of these guys have like a certain level of autonomy. Like, Herman can make certain calls before having to report to somebody. But if it's, a certain magnitude of spend or risk or consulting, he'll climb that up to Nishino. Nishino climbs that up to Hiroki. So they're pretty high up. Like, so Herman's making some decisions, and he's had the role since 2019. So not the CEO role, but the head of PS Studios, which was the same job as, Shuhei. Shuhei always gets talked about historically. Shuhei had the job for quite a long time as far as PlayStation history is concerned.
I mean, I assume Herman's not getting like, I don't think they can demote him again. They can't send him back to Gorilla. I assume the next demotion legitimately is like them letting him go.
He would leave. I would think he leaves. He wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's the thing with Gorilla. I mean, Gorilla's always been good with a lot of their single player games, or even some with, set up for large open worlds like you see the Horizon. I just don't know. I guess he wouldn't go back to Gorilla. You don't think he'd want to? I think he'd be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm out."
I think he would just. I would think he leaves.
No.
I mean, big roles like that, at that, like you climb the corporate ladder, you get up there pretty fast. When it's your time to go, you like straight up leave the company. It's CEOs aren't like going,
Yeah.
back down to like low. I mean, they might go to like the board, but I don't see Herman going to the board of direct, like the chair. He's not going to be any of that.
Yeah, I guess it's man, it's hard to imagine because we're talking about the opportunity cost or the lost time. You got to imagine Sony's looking at the financials more than the opportunity cost. They're probably like, oh my gosh, how much? He said it was the Star Wars. It was gonna be our Star Wars game. What? I just the way we look at this right now, man, there's got to be something weird going on inside that we don't know at Sony for for Herman to still be rolling along like he is.
I don't know. I mean, it's the first party teams,
Yeah,
and
there's obvious context we're missing with what's happening inside Sony right now.
The only rationale I've like come to is like, it's easy to look at the bad stuff. Okay, what was the good stuff? Well, Astrobot 2024, like, they care about Game of the Year wins and stuff like that. He's got that under his belt. The like we still have a cadence of single player games, from Yote. And
which ones did Shuhei greenlight versus Herman, would you say?
As far as like what?
Like Helldivers 2 would have been Shuhei.
Right. Well, that's like the weird thing, right? Is like you have this window where Shuhei greenlit Concord and Helldivers 2.
Yes.
And then Herman saw both of them through. And it's like that's a 50-50 thing of like they believed in Helldivers 2. Famously, they doubled the budget of that game and gave Arrowhead 4 more years. And it's like people want to sit here and say they didn't believe in Helldivers 2. They most certainly did.
They just believed in. You think they believed in Concord more though?
Well, I think people say what they want to believe, and that's fine. But like, just plain fact is that they gave Arrowhead 4 more years of development time. That was supposed to be a PlayStation 5 launch title. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And for Arrowhead to get that much money to do a sequel of this like fairly niche PS3, Vita, and Steam game, you know what I mean? Like, so they take swings in weird ways. Like, I'm sure they were surprised by Helldivers 2, but it's like, oh, it's great that they like swung and they got a home run. And then they go up to bat for Concord, which, Herman saw that game through the finish line. And my God, that man got struck out 0-3 easy.
Well, I mean, that's the funny thing. They bought that studio, but they couldn't buy Arrowhead. It's like, man, they really messed that up. Yeah. Gosh. And I mean, you buy that kind of a studio. I mean, that's that. I assume Herman would have been going to bat for buying them Firewalk. And gosh, he was there for the Bungie thing, but like the Bungie thing is Jim Ryan was there for that. It's like, sure, he would have been the one making that final. I mean, I'm sure Herman had some input on it, but I mean, that would have been Jim Ryan at that point. He doesn't care though. Now he's gone. So,
well, I think the sort of positioning is that whoever's leading the studios at that time makes a case for here's like an M&A target, and then Jim would approve it. If we sort of place it in time, right? So I believe that's probably what happened. Mm-hmm. That's all speculation on my part, obviously. But that's what I'm thinking. Like, as far as how does the guy still have the job, just to be completely fair, like what was the good? It's like, okay, still some single player games from the studios that still have the autonomy to do that, like your Insomniac and Sucker Punch just put out Yote. They've still got great second party experiences coming out, right? So between all that stuff, it's like, is that enough? Mm-hmm. Or I don't know how it is, to be frank. Like, I think when you take some pretty big misses, like the amount of games that they've signed, and moreover, it's not signing them's not a problem. It's navigating them in a fiscally responsible way. Bluepoint was fiscally negligent. How the hell do you conditionally approve Bluepoint to, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a bad call. Like, that's just not, like, you have no qualitative analysis being done there. Like, this is this team cannot make this. They can't make this game. Why did you approve this?
Yeah, that's a stain on his record forever right there with Bluepoint.
Like, that's negligent. Like approve it, like doing 12 live service games, as crazy as it sounds. This is a public company. Of course, they're going to chase it. Do it in a responsible way. Initially, I thought, oh, they're actually doing this pretty pretty well, which was, going out and getting a Haven, getting a Firewalk, and signing agreements with initially Lucid Games, which was doing, the Twisted Metal project. It's like, okay, outside studios, and if some get canceled, sure, like it's better to cancel them than to ship 12 Concords. That's the point I like to make. But I think now that we're on the other side of this, it's like, Jesus, Murphy Jones, you guys did not manage these projects as well as you could have.
Man, the Blue Point one does stick out to me quite a bit with that. That's one where I'm so confused as to how they got to the termination of the live service God of War game for them to work on. I mean, I know the thing is, they can pitch us projects and we'll go over it with them, but somehow everybody in the room came to the idea of a live service God of War game for Blue Points. I understand they could do it, but you should go, hey, how about we think about what you're good at and go from there? How about that? And it's tough because at this point, no one wants to see Herman Holst on screen. They don't. No one knows Nishino well enough to care either way if he's on screen. And Lin Tao, I guess, is their public facing their PR person.
Well, she's the Sony CFO.
That's okay.
That's
she's the PR person.
that's Sony corporate, and that's the lady that just said we're not seeing any effect on our on our business.
Is it a problem? She's the one we hear from the most, though.
Well, I don't think it's ever good news to hear from the CFO that often. Let's put it that way.
We heard from her more than anybody. Like, gosh, we don't hear from anyone in Sony anymore. It's like,
I mean, it's it's like the analogy is like the Microsoft Amy Hood thing. It's like, you don't want to hear from these people. You do not want to hear from the chief financial officer. That's the person that is looking to cut your favorite things from these companies.
Yeah, it's like Break-In still needs to, I guess, be shown again. I guess.
Fair Games $ for those that forgot that game is basically getting renamed.
They said that the gamers will never figure out. We'll change it to something called Break-In. It's like, great. Thanks. I'm not really sure how that game does. I assume that thing's already buried. I mean, the live service thing is just super unpopular right now with the PlayStation fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. It's diehard PlayStation fans, and rightfully so. The sentiment right now is at an all-time low. So anything that they announce that's not a cool, great single-player epic is going to be met with bad news.
So there's never going to be a time where they're satisfied with live service, right? Like they're always going to make live service constantly.
What do you think it would take for like PlayStation to be able to announce a live service game and it's received well?
I got one for you. So They launched the PS6, okay, and we already know because they've talked about it a lot at length with Sony investors. The overarching Sony, they like AI, like they're at least working on it, like a lot of companies are. And I will tell you this: a lot of game developers are. There's probably a game developer you really like right now that you're thinking they wouldn't use AI. They're experimenting with AI in some capacity. They're playing around with it. I will tell you that now. But the thing I've wondered with Sony, and it would be really interesting as a live service experience for the PS6, they launch a new version of PlayStation Home and it comes packaged and built in with the PS6.
You think that would be received well?
I do, because they would, I mean, honestly, they might call it PlayStation Home again and people be like, oh, cool. But of course, under the hood, there are ways that your trophies integrate into where you can actually put, let's say you have a platinum trophy for Mind's Eye, and you want to put it on the coffee table right in the living room, you can. It's a physical platinum trophy. You can put it down and people can look at it. Tells you the date that you got the platinum trophy, the whole thing. And when you hover over it, it's right there. Stuff like that would be kind of cool. It's unfortunate they ended the PlayStation Stars thing. They could maybe integrate it in as well. But that would be something where they could also, let's face it, sell stuff. Like every microtransactions. And all. It kind of be like the slice of life MMO that everyone has with their PS6 when they buy it. So it's not something people have to go out and buy. It's there. It might be integrated into your dashboard in some way. I don't know. But that might be one that kind of slips under the radar a bit for people, not realizing it's kind of a live service game, more of a live service experience.
The bull case for PlayStation Home is a hard pitch to take, John.
No, you don't want PlayStation Home? I
don't, dude. I can't even wrap my head around the pitch here. It just, no, it wouldn't work.
No, you don't want PlayStation Home?
I mean, I think there was a window where it actually maybe would have worked, and I think it at 2013 to 20. No, well, not 2013 because Home was still going on a little bit deep into the PS4 cycle. Not deep. It was 2015, I think, was the closure.
The push is the social experience within these live service games. That's what a lot of these companies are looking at right now.
I don't know. It's but it's just Home had the same, like, nobody gives a shit. Nobody wants to, it's like Horizon Worlds with Meta. Like, I think VR chat kind of secured this, and that's it.
Yeah, but like Roblox is super popular. What if you could make your own little games in PlayStation Home?
Well, then you're not making PlayStation Home, are you? You're making Roblox.
At home, at PlayStation Home. We have Roblox at home. Let's call it PlayStation Home.
Sure.
There you go. We're in.
I think another PlayStation Home would do the same thing that the first one did, which is the majority of people that use PlayStation Home were not gamers. That's a hard truth people don't seem to remember, is that the most diehard people that logged into Home on a daily basis, they bought PS3s just to play Home, and they bought loads of cosmetics. Like, people would spend thousands on cosmetics. Like, it was very much a cliquey high school place. Like, that's really what Home was.
So then is the PS6 at $1,000 a drop in the bucket expense for those people if it's $1,000 on cosmetics?
Hey, if they're looking to cater to that audience, then there is an audience for them. Yeah.
Hey, they're tapping into the mainstream. That's the audience they're in right now. Do you buy Madden? Do you buy Call of Duty?
Well, you're in. Yeah, but that's what's like, this idea that people would like launch Home, and Home would be the landing page for the console, and you physically have to move a character to like walk into a group of your friends, and then, oh, let's launch MotorStorm. Like, nobody did that shit.
No, it'd be like Perfect Dark on the N64, okay? Because when you start it up, it's a menu, and then you can press a button, leave the menu, and walk around the institute. It'd be like that. You start it up, it's like your normal dashboard, but then there's a way to then immediately go, which is already running in the background, the PlayStation Home.
Okay. I would like to think it would do a little bit better than what it did before.
It'd have to, because it's built into the system. If it does worse, that'd be insane.
Well, I mean, Home was built into the
no, but like it's already there. It's already running. You turn your system on, it's already running. So they count you as an active user.
You can't do that. You can't.
I mean, we can do
it. That would kill the system.
We can do it.
That would kill it. Although the modern version of that would be that you'd pull up a like PlayStation Portal or whatever the PS6 handheld's going to look like, and that would be the normal menu to like navigate the games and
stuff. Okay. So like the second screen experience.
Oh, like the original PS Home, you pull up a PSP.
Okay. So is that the thing? It's like the isekai thing where you're looking at the menu, and that's what you think you're doing, but when you press back or go to Home, it like then takes the screen down, and your person was just in the living room looking at their portal the whole time.
Sure, yeah. Then you have an apartment, and you could set up the new Bravias that aren't really from Sony anymore. They're getting made from
TCL.
Yeah, TCL.
Special edition TCL, yep, Bravia,
TCL.
Only at home. The other one they can do is they can just go get an old IP that people already like, at least try to soften the blow somewhat. I mean, people keep asking them for what? Killzone Resistance, SOCOM, whatever. They tried Twisted Metal, it didn't work. The obvious one is you get an IP that people already kind of like, and then you don't have to deal with them being mad that it's called fair games with a $sign.
John, the problem is they actually had one, and it's not coming out, and it's The Last of Us Online.
Why didn't they think to turn that into its own little multiplayer game?
What do you mean? Like
how they're doing this right now with Horizon Hunters Gathering? Why didn't they think to do that?
What do you mean? Like
remove the live service stuff and try to make it its own little multiplayer thing?
Because my understanding is that was not like, that's what I'm saying. Like the 3-player co-op Horizon game probably has enough bones to like fix it. I don't think you could fix what like Naughty Dog was doing.
It was going to be like the Division kind of thing where you do actually need it to be a consistent flow of content and objectives and missions, whatever.
It structurally wasn't conducive to like making it,
it would have to really change.
Yeah, like I would think they'd put even more time into it,
Yeah.
But like I still stand. I'll die on that hill. I think the only game that they actually had was The Last of Us Online. It's not coming. and
Yeah.
you couldn't get it either, because if they did, Naughty Dog would be stuck making that game forever.
The other thing, oh, Radix said Little Big Planet. You could do that. That could be something where it's kind of leans into the live service thing. Yeah, with the user generated content as well. That would be like the Roblox.
I'd love Little Big Planet with all my heart, but I don't think that game would do well in today's environment. That's a product of its time game. I know there's hardcore fans. I am one of them. I'm not going to say like another Little Big Planet would do well.
I will say one of the characters that the kids recognize for PlayStation is Sackboy.
Well, that's good.
It's interesting too, because they do
good parenting.
Well, a lot of the kids at school and stuff like Roblox and they like Fortnite. And instead of back in the day for us, it was like, do you have the cool Nikes or Adidas or whatever shoes or clothes? That was a big thing for us back in the day, and even in like elementary school or like middle school, and there's a lot of peer pressure for having cool clothes or shoes. Now it really is. It's skins in Fortnite. I'm not even kidding.
It is, yeah.
It really is. So user-generated content is big right now. Collaborations are big with brands or with just IPs. I do think that's something Sackboy could attempt, but it'd be interesting to see them try to adapt it to the current live service climate. I don't know. I mean, Roblox definitely caters to the younger audience, obviously. So do they want that to just be Sackboy being specifically fenced off to like a young generation? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like A Big Adventure was sort of their litmus test of like trying to break Sackboy out of the just what Little Big Planet is, which is these 3 tiles, and it got the 16 in LBP3, but basically just a platforming game. But you have enough creation tools to then start doing really ambitious kind of things. I think it's just kind of in its own container of time as far as the gameplay is concerned. Nowadays, it's like so saturated. It would break my heart to see a new LBP, because I think it would fail. I feel like A Big Picture or A Big Adventure was like their test. Like, can we do like a 3D platformer style? And it like commercially probably just didn't do enough.
Well, they have, let's see. Yeah, they have Gran Turismo, Helldivers 2, MLB The Show. Those are like the 3 big live service games they have right now that I can think of. Am I missing one? Or is that all of them? I think so.
I think those, well, mind you, we're not even mentioning Marathon, which is funny.
Oh, dude.
Marathon. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
But no, but so but the 3 you mentioned, that is what shows up in their quarterly reports. Those 3 games drive like consistent live service revenue to them. So that is pretty much it.
Polyphony has to be doing a great job, because we never talk about them. So it's like, at this point, if you're not brought up in the live service conversation with Sony, you must be doing a great job. And Polyphony very quietly in the behind the scenes doing a great job. So
we're not even mentioning Tokon. Tokon's out.
Dude, Tokon is struggling too. Man.
Yeah, but didn't it actually like sell pretty well? Like, it's just the PC version was rough, wasn't it?
The PC version was rough. In Japan, it couldn't crack 3,000 copies sold physically or anything. And I think it's sold 500,000 copies is what they've reached so far, which the thing is, I know fighting games are graded on a different scale, but then I also think the fact that it's Marvel, and I go, man, really? I feel like the Marvel IP should be at least somewhat of a boost.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have the game and I've played it, and it's fun. It's definitely more beginner friendly than I was expecting. But then I go online and people just smack you around. So
I mean, I always have to add this qualifier. Like, I'm not a fighting game person, so I can't really comment on it. I've seen people say that like fighters, sort of have legs long term. Like, there's a community there, yes. And I guess there's already like a lot of enthusiasm for Tokon, like being in the the competitive scene. So maybe they have something there. I really can't speak to it. I
think it's going to sell over time, but it didn't have like an explosive start, I'd say, for being a Marvel game.
Okay, that's probably fair to say. I mean, like, the only friend I have he loves fighting games. What's funny is I asked him like 5 times. I'm like, "Are you getting Tokon?" "No, I can't do the 4v4 thing. It just seems kind of weird. I don't like it. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I bought it."
Yeah. I mean, it's more like, that's the thing. Okay. It's right around the Spider-Man movie just came out, and we're also gonna have Doomsday this this holiday. So I think it'll see a boost throughout like the Christmas season and stuff. And I'd be more interested to look at year 1 sales rather than just first month sales or something, just to see where it is. But that's the thing. The franchise they have right now that are proven live service games, the newest one is Helldivers 2. The others have been around for a while. MLB The Show and Gran Turismo. MLB The Show, you can set your watch to it. It's coming out every year, and every year it's going to make money. So that's not their property, obviously, but hey, they're still making money off it. And I think, yes, the most successful live service they've ever put together was Gran Turismo, and that really just adapted into a live service game when they had the ability to connect online and do like legit transactions in the game. Like late PS3 generation.
I mean, the ironic thing is, like, for a while they did not even consider that game live service, which is like so silly to me. I feel like just like to sort of appease investors, you can start labeling it live service and say, look at how good we're doing.
Yeah. Gran Turismo, Forza, they're just good live service games. I mean, car games, if you have a popular franchise for it, works. Does it? It just works really well. And Polyphony is like top tier when it comes to the technical side. So yeah, they're good studio. Good studio, PlayStation.
Yeah, they're good at doing one thing, and it's Gran Turismo.
Maybe they'll make a PS5 game someday.
they did. GT7.
Yeah, it's PS. I have a PS4 right over there. It's a good game.
But people bought it on PS5.
Remember when they told us it was a PS5 only game for a minute there?
Well, they like obfuscated the fact that like Ragnarok, Forbidden West, and GT7. They just never said. Yeah.
I'm looking back on it with this generation, and it's funny in a sad way because all those games are just cross-gen. So we're about to get our first, I guess you could say, Sons of Sparta. We count the PS5. We're about to get our first PS5 game from Santa Monica. We'll get our first, I don't know, PS5, PS6 game then from Guerrilla at some point. Intergalactic will be our first PS5 game from Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know. The cross-gen thing never bothered me that much because it's like people bought the PS5 versions. Those games are all effectively PS5 games.
Well, I understand that they are PS5 games as well, but the whole pitch for the PS5 was the SSD and the ray tracing enabled, and then it's like, oh yeah, these do technically run on a 5400 RPM drive, and it's just it does take some of the impact out of a console release when it's a cross-gen game. It takes some impact out of it.
I agree.
So that's why the PS, you know how we talk about this a lot with the PS5 and how it's viewed, and people go, when's the generation going to start? The PS5 it doesn't have, people say it doesn't have games. Some people say it's lost generation. I've seen articles pop up with that as well in the headline. And I've thought about it a lot. I'm like, the PS5, for all its success, it kind of feels like this weird, like, gray area between the PS4 and the PS6. That's almost how I think it's going to go down. It's just like in there somewhere. Because the PS4 had some like legit games that came out. I would say definitely in the second half. I was a fan of Infamous Second Son, okay? But, it was, especially in the second half of the generation, man, it was going crazy. So there's still, I think, potentially 2 years for the PS5 by itself on the market, because I think the PS6 is holiday 28 now, if I had to take a guess. But there's still 2 years. I think we might see that big push at the end that could change the view of the PS5. We'll see. But that's why I'm starting to really look at it. This live service thing, the more we hear about it, the more I go, man, this does feel like that generation where they just spent time trying to figure out live service. And unfortunately, the single player side was kind of slowed down by it.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty Dog would have had a PS5 game out by now. Would you agree if they didn't do The Last of Us Online?
Well, that's like a thought, like a sort of devil's advocate thinking I was having the other day of like, okay, if we didn't do all this live service stuff for the single player studios that we expect the single player stuff from, how many more games would we have gotten? And really, it's like, well, one each. Mm-hmm. Blue Point probably would have got another one out. Great. Naughty Dog 1. I would be hard pressed to say you'd see 2 out of them. 2 original, like
Naughty Dog. I assume you'd have 1, maybe Intergalactic. Intergalactic might have already come out.
I mean, yeah, but like they're by no means a fast studio.
No.
So like we'd have 1 new game from them.
Yep.
It's like what sucks about the whole thing is that whether it's live service or not, games just take way too long to make now.
Yes.
So the opportunity cost is like well, we could have one single player game from them.
Do you
I
think
think
Gorilla
that's
would have had Horizon 3 out, not this year, but maybe next?
yeah, for sure, definitely. I think you know, especially like Insomniac's had a pretty decent turnaround time for Spider-Man and stuff too.
Mhm.
I mean, they've obviously got a really great pipeline to be able to get stuff out as timely as they have,
Oh
which
yeah.
kind of goes against the grain of everybody else. But like, that's why like PlayStation's not the only one dealing with this. Like everything's taking forever to come out. That's why you've seen PlayStation like be very aggressive with timed exclusivity, looking for deals in China, doing the hero projects. Like they've been padding out the release cadence because they know you're going to be spending 5+ years for the next big PS Studio game. That's
Yes.
why they're like their internal metric is at least one tentpole game per year. And they say one, like, but next year we're actually looking at Lao Fei and Intergalactic and possibly
Mhm.
Until Dawn 2, whenever the hell that comes out.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. They might even have 4 releases next year, like decent sized ones.
Yeah.
But the entire ironic thing about all of this with the live service stuff, while live service may have hurt them in the PS5 generation, or at least definitely slowed them down, it also kind of bailed them out because all the third party live service stuff has only just printed them money to where they put these reports out with their investors, and it's like, man, the gross add-on content eclipses all full game sales for
Yeah.
physical and digital. And it's like, man, I mean, I get why they are chasing it. They just need to be way smarter about it. Like they really got to consider the idea of maybe our main studios don't have to try to make every single one. Maybe we just partner and try to plant seeds and figure out strategically who we might want to bring in. That's not Haven. Who we want to bring in to the PlayStation studios and it's not Firewalk, and figure out. I at the very least, I would not buy studios before they put a game out. Let's just do that, okay? You don't have to buy the
Yeah.
newly formed studio.
I feel like that was a byproduct of like just like how cheap it was to borrow money and throughout 2020 and 2022.
Yep.
I mean that very much was the COVID spree of companies investing like crazy.
No, I agree. I agree.
'Cause
A lot of it felt very reactive as well. Like the Bungie purchase felt incredibly reactive.
see, I know it felt reactive, but I'm still of the opinion that they did that because they didn't have the knowledge. Like I think what they said publicly is exactly what happened. They publicly don't know how to make live service games. That's it.
Oh no, I
Like
believe them.
they just learned in hindsight, like, oh shit. Like we thought we picked a good one too. Turns out these guys don't have their shit together.
Yeah, that's well,
I think what they paid was probably reactive. I think
3
they maybe
points
thought
something.
like
Yeah.
we have to offer a lot, and it's like you way overpaid for Bungie.
Yeah, there was word going around that it was like in the 2 billion range somewhere in there, and
Like they were valued that.
Microsoft was looking at them and they were like, maybe not. And yeah, like I look at that because we look at all these purchases. I look at Insomniac as one of the best purchases I've ever seen a company make. Yeah, it's insane just based on what they've been able to do. Especially when you trust them with the Marvel partnership, which is incredibly, I mean, that should be really scary for a studio to like, okay, you have to put these things out and you have to put them out kind of quickly. And it has to be up to a certain level that Disney is going to be happy with. And you got to check with them all the time because they're doing this MC or this cinematic universe that you got to be careful with. And they've done a really good job with it, for the number of games they put out. And I'd say the consistency in terms of the review scores and sales, obviously, they're very, very good. But then I look at, you look at the opposite end of the spectrum with Bungie, and it's like, man, that is such a crazy whiff. Like, it's actually insane. $3.6 billion for Bungie. Meanwhile, Microsoft bought something like Minecraft for $2.5 billion,
Yeah.
But then they also go out and they buy Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. And that just really hurts. So it's like these companies just have these crazy like hits and then whiffs in places you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like I think $2.5 billion for Minecraft at the time and Mojang, that felt kind of pricey back then a little bit. But now I look at it and go, man, that was an incredible purchase. But it's just it's tough to square it right now with Sony and these live service games.
I think that's probably the best way to put it.
What do you? Okay, so do you think Breaking comes? Do you think Breaking comes out?
I don't know. I mean, I think a cancellation is not not unheard of. I mean, if we think that they are like soft rebooting it, basically, then I think there's a world where you might see it get re-revealed again.
Do you think the reason that it's still in development is because if they cancel it, that Haven shuts down?
Well, that gets into like they might have a requirement to sort of keep that studio going. Like they're in Montreal and they get like tax breaks and everything for being a game studio and hiring a certain amount of staff. So I don't want to say something where I look completely wrong here, but I think that plays a role. I think.
That's another one I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm like, man, how in the world is this thing still going? And it's just the rumors around the playtest weren't great. They said what are they trying to find the fun? It's like, my gosh, well, that's a phrase. Gosh, I thought I was gonna be mean in the focus test.
That's what it should be. You should find don't put it out if it's not fun. And if you can't find it, then with it. You got a problem.
Got to do something with it eventually. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out if Hunter's Gathering. Do you think that game comes out?
I hope so. I think it will.
Okay, you think that? But do you think Break-In will come out?
Probably not.
Okay, so what? Okay, one will come out, one won't come out. I'm kind of thinking neither of them come out.
I still would like to see Hunter's Gathering come out.
I'll be real. I'm kind of in the camp of let's get the show on the road for Horizon 3 after the way Horizon 2 ended. Come on, let's what are we doing? I don't need this detour to Hunter's Gathering land. Let's get 3 going here. And maybe it is something where they get it out when the PS6 is in full force, but there will still be a PS5 version in like 2030. Man.
There's no win-win scenario here, you know?
That Fizzit better not come out before Horizon 3. That's all I'm saying.
Oh God. I forget that game's in the somewhere in the 2030s waiting for us.
Gosh, if Kojima gets his next game out before Guerrilla gets Horizon 3 out, oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, think about 2017 and 2022.
That's fine. Yeah, that's true. So maybe it would have been a 5-year turnaround. So yeah, next year. Man, next year we should have had that whole trilogy. I'll ask you this too. Do you think they overestimate the popularity of Horizon?
Oh God, we're doing this again, John.
Yeah, a little bit right now because this happens a lot with Horizon. I notice it every time.
I'm tired of this conversation. I am.
But it happens every time Horizon comes up in the news. Have you noticed that? If there's like any bad news, people are like, "Are they overestimating this thing?"
That's why it's just a boring. Like it's just I'm over it. Like, why do we keep having this conversation? Because they sold 38 million copies of them. That's why. I don't know why this has to keep. I get the whole idea of like, oh, it's not like culturally relevant. It's kind of like the Avatar video game. I get it. I actually see people's point. They sold. I don't know what else to say. Like they sold a lot. You know, like that's why it's still a thing. I don't know. I mean, I like the franchise. I know a lot of people do. So that's it. I don't know. Like
I'm trying to think of
the VR. Well, like the VR game, clearly, like that's PSVR 2. That's not selling. Yeah. That's not selling nothing. The Lego game, I'm pretty sure also did pretty poor. So you're talking the first game and the sequel are principally doing the heavy lifting of 30 million something copies sold. Forbidden West had a bit of a stunted growth, mind you, because it actually went to PlayStation Plus Extra after a year. And that game we saw from the Insomniac breach was very much like a test bed of like, let's see how this does. And like, see if that's like a good customer acquisition tool, if it makes sense to put a game of that caliber in a year. Seems like that, they came to the conclusion that's not really worth it. So I mean, I think, sure, they're certainly getting spicy green lighting too many of them. And from a Horizon fan, I say, give me the third game, make a new IP after that.
Okay, so you are ready to drop Horizon after the third one.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Okay. I don't need more than that. And like, again, as a Horizon fan, I love the VR game. Lego Horizon was like a very fun 15-hour turn your head off kind of game. But like after 3, definitely just move on. I'm fine with the new IP after that.
Okay. Yeah, like that's the thing. I think Horizon 3 will do well because it's not in the Hunter's Gathering art style.
Yeah.
So if Horizon 3 showed up in that art style, would that be a problem?
No, that'd be weird. That'd be
Oh,
that'd
okay.
be a big problem.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, if it's a third entry and they changed it, yeah, that would be pretty weird.
The time travel or dimensions or I don't know. They're doing all kinds of craziness now. They could answer something.
Yeah, I'd be pretty tripped
I
up
think
by
Horizon is a strong mainline series. I think 1, 2, and 3, well, 3 eventually, we hope, we figure, are all strong. I don't know if it's a spin-off worthy franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say given the ones we had just are kind of like weird given what they are, you know?
Yeah, but like we'll find out with this one too, because this would be a spin-off without the live service injection, we'll say, if they remove it
Yeah.
all.
I mean, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just also it's tough because I would have liked to have seen it with that same like technical prowess of the visuals of a Horizon 2 or 3 to judge it better if they decide to say, hey, maybe we'll explore this universe a little more with a different character, with a different part of the even like in time, or they can jump around or in different parts of the world, different viewpoints. Like they can do some stuff if they want with a new character or anything like that. I wouldn't mind seeing more of the world, but I would be really curious to see it as a spin-off with that same like graphical style
Sure.
from the first 3, just to get a better gauge of where we are. Because you're right. I think when I say that, I can only really go on the spin-offs that we've had so far, VR, Lego, and what seems to be this struggling Hunter's Gathering.
Yeah. Now, I would maybe posit and say that the Lego game was probably the test bed of like, yes, the game does not have that cultural like, you know, like that's like when you're cutifying the game, you're trying to speak to children. Like maybe that's where you sort of realize that yes, Horizon doesn't have that sort of cultural impact that people talk about. I get that point when people mention that, mind you. It's just simply why do they keep doing it? Because they're clearly motivated by sales.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I like that's like for me, give me the third game, and then yeah, I'm good with moving on from it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they've had a trilogy thought of for a long time with this thing. So I think you get that third game, and then you decide where Gorilla goes from there. But by then, we'll be in the 2030s, so
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, they just show they're very very good on the technical side, and I just think they made a really cool world. So
I agree. I agree, John. And if you have a PSVR 2, I encourage people to play Call of the Mountain because it's really cool being physically in that world.
would you tell people to buy a PSVR 2 to play Call of the Mountain?
No. Buy a PSVR 2 if you're genuinely interested in VR. Because you're going to want to play multiple. I don't want to be that sort of like buy it for one game kind of thing. Don't do that. Buy it for all the stuff that's on VR. All right, I don't know if we have any more chats. Otherwise, we'll move on to some more news stories here.
I have some more here. Let's see. This is from Claw, who says, "What's the chance of unhappy employee involvement?" That's tough to speculate on. I would have to put allegedly in front of anything and everything I say from here on out with that. But I think it's going to be really interesting, whatever the story ends up being. I believe that if I had to take a guess, it'd be a phishing attempt that actually worked. Probably with an employee somewhat, not an unhappy one. Well, they were probably unhappy after it happened, but like, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it was one that was trying to get revenge or something on Rockstar, at least from my thought process. Toasty says, I'm over here holding out hope for the Incredibles PS2, and that's how he just takes away Toy Story games.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. Oh, shit.
Linux says, John, if you spoil Trails for me, like you did Final 7, I swear I'll lose my mind.
That's what I'm saying.
I am not going
You
to spoil
games.
Trails
Dude.
is like a long running series. There's no way I can spoil anything about that game because I have to play like how many titles to get to where they are now.
You spoil a fucking famous like 25-year-old ending. Like I don't care how old it is. Some people haven't played it.
I feel like that used to be the intro to like a G4 show. Was the
Some
Cloud
people
and Aerith
haven't
and stuff.
played it. I've seen streamers launch FF7 Remake going, never played the original as a kid. I actually don't know what I'm walking into. And that's beautiful. And for you to ruin that for some people, John, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in you.
I have a hard time believing that a large number of people will be watching a PlayStation podcast and have zero knowledge of Final Fantasy VII.
Hey, if there is one person here that hasn't done it, I don't want you to ruin it for them. I don't. Don't do it.
Saron says, speaking of trails, they released a patch that re-recorded many voice lines and fixed naming consistency. Shout out to Gung Ho for the fan service. Very good. Very good.
Good for them.
They did some re-recording. They recorded lines for Metal Gear Solid 4 as well. So that was cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the this version of MGS4 that's about to drop apparently is incredible. I'm like really excited for this thing. I was at Walmart and they had it in the glass. I was looking right at it. Couldn't buy it.
Locked eyes with it and everything.
Couldn't buy it. Yep. I have to look at the Xbox version. I think this is another situation where the PS5 disc has everything on it, but like the Switch one is that thing where it's like one game is on there, one of the portable games is on there, and then you have to download MGS4. The Switch 2 is a game key card. I have to see what the Xbox version is, but it's that situation where the PS5 is like bailing out the true physical for now.
100 gig discs. Dude, all the Xbox discs they're always printed on just 50, regular 50 gig Blu-rays. So
yeah.
I
have to see with the Xbox, see if that's the case. I didn't see a banner on it or anything, but still it's like, yeah. Gafferman says, what would be your dream classic release for PlayStation Plus Premium? Mine would be Vandal Hearts.
That's a good one.
I'd go with Mega Man Legends with trophy support.
I want the original Spyro games with trophy support. I want them just as they were.
Okay.
Reignited Trilogy is good, but I've replayed Spyro 3 like probably a dozen times.
Okay.
I love it.
Stuff. Claw says this news gives me Redfall vibes. Didn't the same exact thing happen with that game? That game had a lot of stuff messed up in the development, and they put out a game that was not great. They still put it out there. They did. I beat the game too. For some reason, I don't know why we did that. Many of us did. It was me, RGT, Nate, and I think MVG. We played all the way through the game for some reason.
How long is it?
Oh gosh, it was like 8 hours maybe.
That's actually, I would have thought shorter than that.
A few play sessions for it. Well, we also kind of ran around the world a few times, just looking around at stuff. But yeah, we just wanted to see what the achievement percentage was at the end, and it was like 0.1% of people beat
for an 8-hour game too.
At that time, I was like shocked. It was maybe the first week or two in. I was like, man, that's it. Sheesh. Toasty says Ben Studio mentioned Days Gone 2. Never give up, never surrender.
I'm holding out hope for you. I hope you get it.
Frank says, happy Click R3. I platinumed Elden Ring and Halo. John, I couldn't send my member milestone chat on Spawncast last weekend. Was I banned? I shouldn't be. I'll have to check with Evan to make sure. You shouldn't be, Brian. You shouldn't be. I'll bring it up with him, though. You guys going to try to not have any unfinished games for GTA 6? Hashtag Click R3. It's going to be impossible. There'll be too many games happening as it is. September, October, even November. Hey, that Godzilla Straw Monsters are going to be out around then. I got to pick that up. There's probably going to be, honestly, an Ocarina of Time remake's probably dropping the week before GTA 6, and it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of unfinished games still going to GTA 6.
You just do it the way I'm doing it. You just wait. Just don't start anything that you're not going to get super committed to, that you think you're not going to finish in time. Just hold.
Ryan's holding up the PlayStation blackout for us there. Okay.
just not playing anything for 3 months.
Let's go.
Hey, congrats on the platinums though. Elden Ring and Halo. That's a good one.
Yeah, Halo, you got to play through it a bunch of times to get the platinum for it.
I looked up the Halo trophy guide, which was, mind you, a foreign thing to do. Was to type Halo trophy guide into Google. But I see a game that I can definitely take on, John. So I'm gonna hope to impress you someday.
Okay. Zoop says, couldn't Last of Us Online and Spider-Verse Online be a one and done like Ghost Legends? I want to say yes, but we don't know the structure of, if it's like Division, then probably not. Like it'd need a lot of content consistently, I feel like, for what they were aiming for. There's probably multiple currencies tied into it. I mean, I have to imagine they had visions of crazy monetization in that game. So,
Well, the Spider-Man game didn't get nearly as far as people think. I think that game that would have needed like genuinely still multiple years of development, even to do a Legends type thing.
conceptual stage and like a vertical slice or something.
Yeah.
I think
They were way. I don't think they really even had the game. Last of Us Online, they had a game, but I think what John was saying, like structurally, I don't think you could just put it out like Legends.
That's a real shame that apparently that game was that good. Last of Us Online, they just maybe they do reuse some of it and it goes as a tacked on multiplayer for The Last of Us 3.
Hey, I think if you're gonna make all the like that much assets, you gotta try and do something with them.
Yeah, I just bring back tacked on multiplayer. I'm okay with that. If they really want multiplayer for Horizon, I don't understand why, if they have a big world already set up, they already have a bunch of characters they made, assets and NPCs or whatever that can go as playable characters. Why can't you just go into the world, section off parts of it, and just run team deathmatch, capture the flag, whatever other objective, and it's just, hey, this is what we have, this is what we're doing, and that's it.
Well, as anecdotal as it sounds, because I'm just sitting here saying, "Oh, I saw people say shit on Reddit," but it's like I did see a lot of people online upset that Legends is like already over. Like that Sucker Punch was like, "Yeah, this is our last big update, and we're and everyone's like, I can't believe it." As anecdotal as that seems, sometimes it's funny. I'm not saying these are the same people saying these things, but it's the sort of, why don't we have just more Legends? And then people that are playing Legends are like really upset that that's all they're getting. You know what I mean?
It seemed like it had a lot of content though when they first released it. So I don't know. Would people rather have all the content up front? It's kind of the argument that people have with like how Netflix would do things when they just released all episodes versus say Amazon, where it'd be weekly they'd release an episode. It's like, would you rather have everything all at once and then they kind of move on from it, or do you want them to release bits and pieces over the course of like 4 months? I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you have all the stuff and you want to release it and then move on, do that. That's how it used to be back in the day with all the games. And if there is a full single player there with it, like there is with Ghost of Yotei, to me, there's genuinely a lot of content then, and I know Sony and these other companies want to think more about how they get money, which might just be $80 games. I think there's a case to be made of, hey, if we have tacked on multiplayer that is like a consistent thing you can play, maybe it is now worth $80 to us and them. So
maybe.
Toasty says they did Lego Horizon Adventures. What franchise do you want to get the Lego treatment next? Mine is Lego Last of Us, but it still needs an M rating. That I don't think Lego would want that. It'd be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, you could do it. Just a bunch of red pegs flying off every time.
The thing that was always great about Lego was that the adult playing would know what kind of violence is happening on screen, and then the kid playing with them would just see Lego pieces flying around. Last of Us would be funny. You know what? I don't mind the Lego God of War.
Give me a Lego MotorStorm.
I brought that up as a poll because I was asking what people wanted for live service. Like, what should Sony use if they're going to go back to their bag of IPs? I put MotorStorm in there and no one voted for it.
Good.
A MotorStorm
live service. Don't live service my MotorStorm.
Why not? What? Big open world. It'd be like Crew Motors. What's that? What's the Crew Motorsport game? Yeah, it'd be like that.
Don't do that. I was always like this. That's why I like Need for Speed 1 Underground 1 versus 2. I don't need an open. Just give me a goddamn menu and let me pick the race.
It's a driving game. Don't make me drive, okay?
No. Don't.
If I have to drive in this driving game, okay?
I think the only like open world-ish racing game I've ever played and liked was Burnout Paradise.
That's a fun one. Yeah. Real Radic. Oh, Radic says, Ryan, is it over for the PS3 store search engine?
All right, yeah. So me and Radic were going back on this a little bit. It's not even making headlines, and that tells you how often people are using the PlayStation 3
I'm going back to the PS3 store when we get closer to a shutdown. Wait, do I need to go back soon? Actually, do I need to go back soon?
So right now, August 18th to the 20th, that's when they were shutting down the Nicaragua, Honduras store, and I forget the other country. They were shutting those stores down and also changing over the currency to local. So we all assumed over the weekend, like, okay, maybe just some weird backend stuff going on. If you remember, the PS Store on PS3 was also in maintenance mode like 6 months ago or something like that, and everyone freaked out. But it came back. Right now, the search button does not work on PlayStation 3. Search, I think, is still broken on Vita as well. But with Vita, you can still like go to like alphabetically, like everything's still where it should be. The problem with the PlayStation 3 store, as I've documented like multiple times over the years, is the filters can like get more and more broken over time. So the filters just don't work. You can sort by right now, if you sort all PS3 games, 300 of them are Vita games. And then, well, let me back up. You go to all games on the PS3 store. The PS3 store can see, Vita content as well as PS3. So if you go to all games, it shows like 300 something on Vita, and there's like 30 PS3 games. The thing is, that was never a problem. All the content's still on the store. You just have to manually search for it. But now when you hit the search bar, nothing shows up. So I will say, I don't know how long it'll take to go back up, or if it ever gets fucking back up for that matter. There is a third-party website where you can like still transact on the store. Some people are like a little nervous about it, but it's called psstoresearcher.pages.dev. So you can like on desktop search for PS3 content and add it to your basket. All this website is doing is generating a link to check out with that game on PlayStation's website, because they don't let you do that anymore. So for anybody that's still looking to actually transact on the PlayStation Store on PS3, it's possible with this website. But technically, if you try to do it on console, you are locked out of like thousands of games because the filters don't work correctly.
Okay, got it. So
Yeah.
interesting. My plan was to start a whole new account and go on the PlayStation 3 store for the first time with that before it shuts down, just to see what like a fresh account looks like on it. But apparently, it's gonna look.
I don't
look crazy.
I don't think. Yeah, it's not gonna. Yeah, the filters were always broken, but everything was there. If you just searched for it, it was there. Like if you knew the exact name, you can find anything. But with the filters broken, now you genuinely cannot see certain content items.
Got it.
So I don't know, Radic. I'm hoping they do fix it soon. I mean, I'm sure we're both preparing videos about, navigating the store, which I'm like right in the middle of, and it's kind of putting a bit of a weed into that video, obviously. So we'll see.
Spyro says, so Sony told me I don't own games, I buy digitally.
No, you don't.
Is that a story that you have?
Well, I didn't write it on here, but like for some reason they just sent out, I don't know why they did that. They sent out this email just reminding people about the terms of service.
They had to rewrite apparently they had to change up some of the language for I think in Europe, and it reads so much like colder now. They have to be really straightforward. It can't be like the legalese and stuff. It's very, very straightforward now. It's like, you do not own this game, and it's like that. And people were not happy with it. I mean, when they emailed you, it was 50 pages of stuff, and you read through it, and it's not great. The funniest part is they're like, hey, if we ban your console, your purchase, some of these purchase games, and it actually says games you paid money for do not work necessarily, but your physical discs do work, is what they said. So I thought that was funny. I don't know. Yeah. It's like, yeah, there you go.
Something like that. You need straight up regulation to tell these companies you can't do that, because they're never going to change it. No outcry is going to make them give you digital protections like that.
Yeah, but I do wonder if it's, with everything that's happening in the world, if this is anywhere near like even the top half of a list for legislators right now.
Well, that's part of the Stop Killing Games movement, is trying to bring more attention to this. There are issues like more specific. I mean, if we're talking about the right to access your games, even if your account's banned, is obviously like one sliver of like a larger pie of the digital issue, but it's all important. You should have more rights with digital content, and you don't have it. Dude, and you're not going to get it until somebody in the EU actually does it,
I think it does have to be in the EU, but the ESA, man, they're going to throw a lot of money. All these companies, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, EA, Take-Two, they're going to band together, put so much money into a pool and basically go, no, we're going to fight this thing. So there's going to be so much resistance against the idea of digital games being more like physical that I just, man, it's a mountain to overcome. And the amount of, my concern is the amount of time it takes that they really do push to a cloud streaming ecosystem, and then there's no file sent to you. So what ownership would you even have anyway?
Absolutely none.
Like, I think they could string this out over 10 years. I think it'd be multiple generations of them fighting this and it being a whole thing. It's just the way the legal system and all this regulation stuff takes forever. So that's my concern, is that they string it out until we get to a point where they're like, oh, well, we're introducing cloud, so don't worry about it. Yep. Don't worry. So, yeah.
Well, getting back to our news stories here, John, we do have a lot of stuff from Wolverine because press previews came out. So throughout the past 2-ish weeks, there has been a lot of hands-on impressions for the game. I'm guessing you've looked through some of the footage and some of the hands-on. What do you think?
Someone compared it to Ben 10.
Yeah, somebody did compare it to Ben 10.
I learned that there was a Ben 10 game on the PS2.
Yeah.
I think that was PS2. I don't know. I didn't play any Ben 10 games at all, so I don't know. That's the first time I've ever seen that Ben 10 game before.
And that was the first time I saw it too.
Okay. It's I don't know. It's just funny that, I mean, I think it looks fun. As me, I think it's going to be a cool game to play through. But I've also enjoyed a lot of Insomniac's games. I do think I am in the camp of, I thought Spider-Man 1 was better than Spider-Man 2. But I also think part of that is the impact of Spider-Man 1 showing up and be like, whoa, okay, this is pretty awesome. Versus kind of already expecting that going into Spider-Man 2. And I was a little down on the way that some of the stuff they did, although I then waded into spoiler territory. Some of the stuff they did with Venom, and yeah, I was
sure his story character, the way the plot played out.
Yeah, I would have been a little more interested to go a different direction with Venom for that. Although who knows, there might be a Venom game coming up, and maybe they change things up. We'll see. But from what I'm seeing, it's what I'm kind of expecting. It's supposed to be a linear action-based Wolverine game where he just slices people up. And my only concern, this was a long time ago before we started hearing more about the details for it, just the initial look at the claws coming out of his hand, was will they go like full mature rating with it? Because, not that, I mean, Disney's kind of let up on this because we see the Wolverine Deadpool movie and that sort of thing. But, at the time, a little concerned about them going, it's kind of like teen immature rated, somewhere in there. No. It's super violent. So with that in mind, and where my expectations were, I'm excited for it to come out in September, and I'll be picking it up physically.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they've confirmed a few things. Obviously we know the game is linear. That bar in Madripoor is where you see like more intimate story interactions happen. Because like the whole point of the story is that this is like pre-X-Men. So it's a very early Logan story building up to, as we saw from the Insomniac Breach, another game that they want to make eventually. So, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good to me. A lot of good standard combat, stringing together combos and stuff. Logan has that crazy heal factor, so you can if you get downed, you can spend 2 rage bars to get brought back up, and the animation looks pretty sick. But that's like what happened over the week, as people are, putting up comparison videos of like the Ben 10 fight, or trying to, make reductive comments about the combat itself or something.
Okay. I'm a little torn on this one. So let me ask you this. Okay. With the Wolverine previews, if they decided to say, you know what, we're going to show you some crazy boss from 3/4 of the way through this game, full sentinel fight, multiple sentinels, you're jumping all over the place, and all kinds of craziness is happening. Here's a new character. We weren't going to show you this before, but you know what? Here's Cyclops is in the game, or something like that, right? Wouldn't people just go, man, I wish you didn't show me that? Why you show me this? I didn't want to. I wanted to be surprised, but this is the thing with previews, is trying to skirt that line of how much do we show, how much do we hold on to, and is this enough to give them an idea as to what we're going for without feeling like they've seen too much of the game. You know what I mean? So I do see the comparisons. I see the complaints online because some of the gameplay, I mean, it looks like what I expect, but yeah, sure, button mashy. There is one where it's kind of that cutscene that you play You know, you're,
Sure.
you're holding
You
up.
just run. Yeah.
These are all things I get, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of been a thing for a long time now. And it'd have been interesting, I guess, if they did something else with it. But at the same time, Insomniac is like trying to turn in games at a consistent clip. So these are corners, yes, they're going to cut. For example, you might walk through a plant and it clips through your foot. It's like, well, there you go. So I think about that when I see it, and I see people. I was around when this game came out, and I feel like there are a lot of people right now. I see it online. I have the game. I have the game on PC. I have it physically on PC. Windows Games Live. Okay, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Don't make me get it. It's over there, and it's a game that back in the day, I felt like it was me and maybe 2 other people that actually liked the game that much.
Okay.
It was a game I enjoyed, but if, like, for example, I played on the PS3, frame rate's not great and there's screen tearing everywhere. Not a great port of the game. But I liked that game quite a bit back then. It had still kind of that stigma of a movie tie-in game, and back then it was those games just got pumped out constantly. So if, like, people can go back and look at the Metacritic scores on those games. Just go take a look. You'll see what I mean. I'd recommend that to people back in the day at the old store. And for the most part, people who took it home and played it liked it. But there are people who are like, it was all right, I guess. I'm like, man, did you see Wolverine was like healing while it was like, if you got hurt and you stood and watched, it was healing. And they're like, I guess, man, it's Call of Duty here. It's like, okay, all right, fine. Let me get that for you. So I would do that a lot too. If people would come in and be like, I want to try something new, I'd be like, all right, X-Men Wolverine. I would try to recommend that game.
Okay.
It's I think there's rose-tinted glasses for some of that, but
okay.
Because I mean, I'm sure you've seen the comparisons come up for it a lot.
Sure.
With that game.
What point were we making, or?
I think people are overselling the old X-Men Wolverine game and how it was viewed back then versus now.
Okay.
And I think it's because well, I'll give you another example. People are looking at that red scent thing, right? The red scent.
Yeah.
The hand holding with that. If you play Wolverine Origins, there's an entire section where they show you the footprints on the ground you follow.
well, that, I mean, well, that's the thing. John, I don't even think it's worth humoring this stuff. Like, clearly it's just like bad faith, reductive, shit posting on Twitter. Like, but they're using a game that I liked back then, but not a lot of people did either. And now it's like the thing where I'm like, man, now everybody likes this game. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you could do that to any game. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Period. Oh God. Oh no, he's getting it. Oh geez. This might be the first time John's actually turned off his video and he's going to get something physically. This might be the first time he's ever done this on Click R3. Which I'm kind of excited because he hasn't done this before. You see how he just stormed out of here so fast like that too? Leaving me to vamp. I don't even care to vamp. I'll leave it dead air. I will leave it dead air. Oh, he's back. They think I'm messing around. What's that? I didn't call you a liar, just so we're clear. There is a thing in here for Marvel Ultimate Alliance too. I didn't call you a liar. You see that? Look, see? That's when we had the silver disc in the middle. Look at that. Yeah, and that's the game that people say it's actually good now. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's how I felt about all the Spider-Man games. Like, I feel like everyone compliments the old Spider-Man games, and I just can't help but think, like, guys, these were like not good until the Insomniac one. There's a phone number on the back with a 310 area code. Where is that from? Where's that? Oh, give it a call. Available fall 2009 for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, by the way. Give it a call. The PS3 version's like $150 now. I know. the 360 version is actually pretty good. What is the system requirements on this guy again? I remember when I got this, I was able to play this pretty easily, so it couldn't have been that crazy. Because it was one of those games for Windows you can see at the top that everyone hated too. It was a double whammy. Like, it's not going. I was just curious about what was the video card it required. Okay, an ATI Radeon X 1800, 7800 GT on the NVIDIA side. Yeah, I had an 8800 BFG GT. Had the Breaking Benjamin cover on it, is what it looked like. That's what I called it. Yeah. It's like the guy with like the
his hands on his head. Yeah.
Look at John over here waxing nostalgia over PC.
You know how many PC I have so many. I did a whole video showing off some of my physical PC games, and
did you look like a madman?
Yes, they were like, "What do you do? What is this?" It's like, hey, these are physical PC. I have Mega Man X on the PC, and you have to like type it. It shows you in the instructions how to type it into a DOS prompt to launch the thing. and it was worse than the Super Nintendo version somehow.
So I'll say this: the one X-Men game I played and I liked because I had rose tinted glasses, and I know it wasn't actually good, was X2 on the PS2, which came out with like that 05 movie.
Wolverine looked weird in that game. He looked really weird.
Yeah, I didn't like learn until hindsight, like or like older. It's like, oh, that one was kind of weird, you know. But I liked that one.
I think that one had, if I'm not mistaken, I think so. My card had 512 megabytes of video RAM. I believe the 8800 Ultra had 768 megabytes of video RAM. If I'm not mistaken, Anthony can correct me, but I do know the one you're talking about. I had the BFG 8800 GT, and that card was awesome. It's a great card.
See, I'm like way out of depth on PC parts and certainly the history of them. But was that also the one you probably wanted for like Crisis back then?
Well, yes, but that was after even the Crisis days because I think
Crisis was 07, right?
Yeah, 07? But they had a demo out before that. You could probably find the demo still. And I think it was like the year before, and everyone was just downloading this demo and benchmarking their PCs with it. I went from my first custom PC had an NVIDIA 5200 FX card in it. And that card, looking back on it, was not very good. But whatever. I could play Halo on the PC at the time, and that was a big deal. And then I went to a 6600 GT. And then I remember I was walking through Best Buy one day, and they had this 8800 BFG GT on sale for some reason to like $170. Which, I mean, again, back in that mid-2000s era, that was still pretty pricey. But now it's like significantly more expensive. Picked that up, and it was incredible. Oh, what an amazing time. The 6600 GT I got back then so I could play Titan Quest.
Oh, okay. That's what you wanted.
Yep. That was the first game I booted up on. I remember it like vividly because I was like, oh my gosh, the cape works. Like, it actually flows in the wind.
That's what you wanted to see, huh?
I'm old, man. God, I'm old. I remember the advent of video cards. That's a problem. Yeah, that's definitely a world I was never a part of. The voodoo cards back then, you had to go on like mail in order to find those things. I remember my dad was talking about them. I was like, it's a voodoo card. Who's this NVIDIA company coming up?
Wow. Different times, huh?
I remember going to the mall and seeing Doom for the first time.
How'd you feel?
I was pretty little, but my dad was like, let's go see this game. He took me to the mall to see Doom. And I'm like, I didn't know if I was supposed to be. I mean, back then the graphics obviously very pixelated compared to now, but everyone was crowded around. And the mall's still here. Like, it still exists. Malls go away all the time. People are crowded around this like middle, they had a whole setup for it. They were just showing Doom and people were like amazed by this thing.
Yeah. And now you can put it on a calculator.
I know. It's like this is it. This is the future. Now people are putting like pregnancy tests.
One line for Doom 1, 2 lines for Doom 2.
There it is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's all it is.
Gee whiz. All right. Well, getting back to Marvel's Wolverine.
All of that off of X-Men, by the way. This thing right here.
Yep.
People didn't believe I had it on PC. It's like, no, maybe get some of the other games.
Who didn't believe you?
Don't make me get any of my other physical PC games.
John, I will make you cut your feed again and then go pick up something. I'll start calling you a dirty liar if you want me to. All right, Wolverine.
I'm lucky upstairs. My PC games are usually downstairs.
Listen. Wolverine console bundles, and also console covers and the DualSense. Did you get anything?
I'm gonna get the yellow controller.
You are? Okay.
I will get the yellow controller.
Limited edition console covers, DualSense. The pre-orders are up. I think the Pro stuff went pretty fast because that's the second time we've ever had PS5 Pro covers get offered.
Yep.
But there's still a PS5 Slim ones, and there's a battle yellow DualSense and a silver adamantium DualSense that you can pick up.
The covers did a little too much. I don't know. I like the it being implied that he like slashed up your PlayStation rather than having him screaming in the corner. Like, I don't need all. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but I just like the idea of them cutting up because they put like a
There's a window.
plastic. Yeah, I like that. That's a cool idea. And I guess they just want Wolverine branding in some way on it. That's fine. But I like the idea of like Spider-Man, for example. They didn't put Spider-Man on it. They put the implication of like Venom taking over or just like the web on the system. So, I mean, it's cool. I mean, obviously people wanted it because it sold out and now it's being resold on eBay for like 3 times the amount.
Yes. Yes, it is. Which is pretty normal nowadays.
Yep.
Scalping.
Unfortunately. The controller, the yellow one is the one that's going to be in stock in different stores, though. It's just the adamantium one is PS Direct only.
Yep. They do like to do that.
I want the yellow one anyway, so it works out.
Next up, we have Ghost of Yote's Complete Edition was announced. We have a new single-player expansion coming and a roguelike survival mode. This is coming October 1st, Ghost of Yote Echoes of Sekigahara, which is a new narrative expansion that is split between the present day and flashbacks to Atsu's time on the mainland. The flashbacks focus on when she was in the Battle of Sekigahara before she travels north to chase down the Yote Six. And then during the present day, you'll explore a new area and meet a new character named Nagato. There will be new enemies, heavy weapons, armor sets, dyes, and more. And then Ghost of Yote Most Wanted is a single-player combat survival mode, basically a roguelike. So you're going to accept bounties to start a new run. Then you earn perks, unlock different characters as you progress. Complete Edition is $70, or current owners can upgrade with a $15 path. If you pre-order before September 30th, you get a Jin Sakai armor set, and this all comes as a big patch on October 1st. And yes, this is getting a disc print. If you didn't see, it's getting a disc print, but it's already been confirmed on the box art. There's a little disclaimer that it's not going to have the big patch 2.0. It's not going to be printed on the disc. So Echoes of Sekigahara and Most Wanted are not going to be on there. It's going to be like title ID'd as regular Ghost of Yote, but it's like a separate, like it'll pull the content for you, I believe, a part of patch 2.0.
Okay. So, but you'll have the content with it as well
when the because the patch will drop on October 1st. And this patch, if you don't buy this stuff, by the way, you are going to get armor transmog, a Beauty of Yote screensaver mode, and other quality of life updates.
Okay. I mean, I was going to go back and check the single player DLC out anyway.
Yeah.
New trophies too?
Yes, new trophies.
Yeah. So I'll go check it out. If it's like what we had with Tsushima, where we got the content, which by the way was also a year later, so this fits in like perfectly with that, exactly how you line it up, then it'll be decent enough. I mean, it's not gonna be a massive expansion, but it'll be fair enough. So I'll go back and check it out.
I loved Yote, and I love that we are getting so many roguelike modes. I love this shit.
Oh, okay. You're a fan of the roguelike modes, huh?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, between Last of Us and Valhalla and now this, like I kind of love that these
I did like Valhalla. Yeah, that was good.
I think it's cool that, like the big AAA, single player games are getting these like separate little and now here's a roguelike mode. I know some people like can't stand roguelikes, but I love them. So I think
it looks like this one you'll play as different characters. You'll be able to play as some of the different characters as well, kind of like that Last of Us setup.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sick. So I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds great. So that's coming October 1st, which is another pretty big, decent content drop before GTA 6 for those looking to have more content to play in this crowded season.
Are you playing anything right now, Ryan? Anything big you're playing right now?
No, I'm in between stuff right now. I almost started Ball Pit the other day. I was like, I shouldn't, because I'm going to get addicted to it. I just know I am.
Yeah, but you could do that on. You can't really do it on the Portal very easily. Yeah, maybe.
And I think that game would be terrible on a Portal.
No, but you know what? If we do have a handheld PlayStation at some point, that would be the one where I'd be like, oh, there's the handheld PlayStation game you can use on Pick 'em and Play.
I am sitting here thinking like, ooh, this would be great on a portable PlayStation.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that would be like a great portable game.
Drop it next year.
Hey,
holiday 27.
Speaking of next gen news, let's talk about that, huh?
Oh yeah.
We have a new piece from the Wall Street Journal about Sony's CEO, Hiroki Totoki, and Sony themselves. The whole piece was basically kind of going over the company's history and how Totoki has seen the company evolve from as we know historically, an electronics company to now an entertainment company. But the article did mention the rising cost of memory. And so the expected PS6 rollout, to Tokyo was asked about this. He said the company still hasn't fixed a date for the PS6 launch. That's it. There's no like big quote here. It was like one line of text. They did speak with him. This is like an official answer. They have not fixed the date for the console just yet. I don't think they were going to really say anything here. So,
I mean, no, it's still too soon. They want to get through this holiday season. I mean, GTA 6 is right around the corner. They don't want to be like, yep, next year, PS6. It's like, no, we'll know what year it's coming out when that year starts, and they start talking about it, because they're going to announce, talk about, and launch it all the same calendar year. Like, it's all going to happen all at once. So we talked about this already. The earliest they would talk about it, maybe a CES to start the year. You know, here's the logo. It's a PS6. Amazing. But that would at least start the push. And then you see it, you know, the Mark Cerny podium talk for an hour or something, not really giving us in-depth details about the console, but the technology behind it. And then here comes summer. Okay, here's the design. Here's some of the details for launch. Here's some games. And then, you know, you move to the release. So I do believe him in that they don't know exactly when it's going to launch, but you feel like they have a rough estimate. You know what I mean? Like they're planning out a year at least. I don't know if that year is 2027 anymore, Ryan.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. Are you becoming more of a 2028 believer?
I am. I think it's holiday 28 now.
That's the thing. I think they definitely had an idea of when they wanted to do this. I think now they are very much like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Now what do we do?
If you launch holiday 28 though, yes, they're going to eat it on the front end here with the prices being high for building the thing during 2028. They just won't be as high as 2020. I assume. I mean, we can only do so much, but with the way the projections are working out, a lot of analysts are saying 27 is going to be literally the worst year to do anything with electronics, like the worst. So in my mind, I'm going, okay, that would make little to no sense when, I mean, in the same interview, he talks about how they have a PS5 base, you know, they can sell to, and they have studios that are a little behind because of live service stuff. Maybe that extra year wouldn't be a bad thing for them. You know, like they can sell through 2027, then get into 2028, and maybe get some the last generation, you know, releases that happen right before the PS6 drops. My thing is though, the handheld is tough, but I don't think it's as hard to put together that handheld as it is the PS6, or the home console PS6. I think the handheld would be easier to put together. Mm-hmm. So I do wonder if that handheld could come out like the year before, if it could still make holiday 27, and they just pitch it as it's going to play your PS5 games for now. And then maybe we'll talk about a long cross-gen period that would still work out with this system. Because if cross-gen's 5 years, like it may be, that means the handheld would get 6 years on the market as it is. And that's a typical lifespan.
Mm-hmm. I think I think that's very plausible. And I wasn't so sure about that before. I think that 28 is the latest you can go. Can we agree on that?
If you get into 2029, like there was a whole piece that was written up, I think it was Alinea Analytics. Was it Alinea? Who wrote that up? I didn't make sure I think it was Alinea. Anyway, I want to make sure who it is that said this, but there was an entire report that came in about next generation if it launched at $1,000, and it just looks devastating for the industry, to where they believe that by year 5 it have sold 40% less than launch a line with the Xbox Series and the PS5. And that's a problem, because all that's really saying is that the console industry would shrink. Like that's all that's saying. And so with that, one of the answers was they could wait till 2029. In my mind, I'm like, no, they kind of can't, because then the chip is just old at that point.
Yeah.
You know, from AMD. So if they were going to go 2029, they may as well scrap their current chip like yesterday and start working on a new one. You know, and think about it in maybe even hey, this generation we're trying to make, memory is not going to be as plentiful. So we need to figure out a way around that. If the word's still been, Ryan, 30 gigabytes of GDDR7, that's insane. That's not gonna work at all.
Dude, there is like no getting around this. It takes like 4 or 5-ish years to make a console. They
Yeah,
have to, like, they have it, as you said, they have a chip. I don't think you can go past 2028.
I don't think you can either.
I don't want a PlayStation's if that's the key argument I make is like the console's made, basically. If it's made, yes, even if it's expensive, what does holding it do? You might as well just build whatever install base you can at the price point that you can and just hope that eventually we would actually have something very different from this console cycle, which is pricing down. You know, I don't think they want to have $1,000 console. Nobody wants to have them that high, especially if it does lead to a this proposed concept that they'll be like super down on a launch line basis.
Ampere Analysis, by the way, is
Ampere.
who had the report for that. They gave some things that could happen, like that these companies could do, Microsoft and Sony, with one being the delay, the other one being finding other ways to make money by going to an all digital ecosystem, which they are doing. And I think we've kind of identified that maybe Sony feels that they need the margin, and that's why they're being so like straightforward and stubborn about the whole thing. They're like, we're just bulldozing this because we literally have no other option. The other one they brought up, though, is kind of intriguing to me, and it might be a little bit because I've kind of kicked this around a bit, but they become creative with the form factor and the marketing. Like they think a bit more about it in the sense that it's not just going to be a console or a box that you put under a console that you put under your TV. And we've talked about this already. So that's why when that popped up, I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, maybe they do have the plan of a PS6 Pro and then the PS6 is the hybrid system.
Yeah, you've pitched this before.
I thought it was interesting that it was one of the things they brought up. I was like, huh, that's interesting. Okay.
Hey, if you get this right, it'd be a huge slam dunk on your part. It really would.
I wonder how would the PlayStation community respond to that? What do you think? You think the reactions would be bad?
I think at this point in time, no matter how it looks, it would be bad. I actually am. I think in any scenario, unless it was somehow magically priced like you would think it should be priced without this memory crisis, and that's not an option, I actually think it's going to be a lot of negative reactions. I don't care if it's just PS6, if it's a handheld NPS, or if it's PS6 hybrid, PS6, however they announce it and then pricing. I think a lot of it's probably going to be pretty negative because sentiment's already at a pretty much an all-time low, and the expectation is it's going to be pretty expensive. And there's also the expectation of why the hell would I spend that much money for diminishing returns? Dude, they've got a big battle ahead of them. The handheld's the only like kind of exciting thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, right. I just don't. I see. I mean, there's tech enthusiasts who are excited about the prospect of a PS6 because they're like, what can it do? But I think the mainstream that they're relying on right now is pretty happy with their PS5 currently because it plays a lot of the third-party games that they want to play each year. And the handheld is intriguing because it is a shift away from what we'd expect. It's like you subvert expectations and you take more notice. I think what about this scenario? They decide that they will subsidize the handheld, not significantly, but maybe more than people expect, but won't really subsidize the PS6 Pro then that much because it's positioned as enthusiasts. So what if the handheld hybrid system came out and it was $700? And it's a fairly capable system. Even in docked mode, it's better than the PS5 is right now at ray tracing. It has a better CPU and it's still a 4K device. And when you put it side by side with the PS5, you wouldn't even notice that much of a difference. But maybe it can do better frame rates because of the CPU being better. With that in mind, the PS6 Pro is $1,200. How do you think that would go over?
Well, the other thing I think about too is like you're talking about upending like a 30-year like expectation, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are PlayStations. They're one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that the games are on disc. I'm sorry. I thought that's what you were going to say.
You're not funny. Sometimes you are. You're not now. But do you see what I mean? Like, if you were to like just like completely like all of a sudden when they announce a PlayStation 6,
Mm.
and are you proposing that they announce them at the same time, or do they do the hybrid first?
They do it
And
next year, holiday
okay,
next year.
okay, but it's both of them
Yep.
because they might be able to get away with both of them versus if they like PlayStation 6 is actually the handheld. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you're upending like a very big 30-year expectation. Like I think there's still a lot of pressure on them to do like the very normal thing of the console will be PlayStation 6 and then we have to call this other thing something else. Like give it a weird Vita name or something, you know what I mean? And you have to telegraph that hey, this thing is going to play for some 5 games and also we've got a developer mandate for any 6 games. It's just it's I don't have the answer. I know what you're pitching is, I think, maybe more plausible than I thought it was, even just a short bit ago, you know?
I think it would go over pretty well in like Japan. I think would be pretty excited about this. I do. I think because Nishino's also said that he wants to put a bit more of a focus on Japan. That's why they have the subsidized PS5 out there. I mean, it's cheaper than a Switch 2 at this time. The PS5 is. So that also kind of made me think a little bit more about this. Like, what would Japan be open to? They'd be probably pretty happy about the idea of a hybrid PlayStation system. And
Well,
they probably would buy the handheld more than the PSX Pro then.
right, but they're going to get that either way. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just more an argument of how would they market them.
Right.
You know?
The marketing would be the thing. Because I do think you can sell the Pro on the sense that it's an enthusiast device as well. It's just one way or the other, Sony has to understand if there's $1,000 system that we're relying on, it's just not going to sell as well as the PS5. Just one way or the other. So it's like, can you position this to where the PS6 is this hybrid system that is cheaper than people may expect? Because people are expecting $1,000. If that thing was 700, and then also it's 4K and it better ray tracing than what you're seeing right now. It still has a solid state drive, and it's now also a portable device. I think Ampere made the point that people do find at times more value in the idea that it's a handheld and also a console in one. And that's what Nintendo has shown actually works. And they're having a harder time now too, because their system's going to 500, and that's difficult. Because I actually think they might even find themselves near $600 by next holiday season. The actual chipset inside the Switch 2, it got 10% more expensive apparently. You know, and like that's so everyone's having a hard time with this, but Sony would have the opportunity with it's a digital only system, but people expect it to be digital only. I don't know many people who are like, oh, there's gonna be a cartridge with this thing. So they also would at least be able to lean into the idea that if you buy this, you're only buying games from us.
Let me throw this at you. I'm sure you saw from our friend Matt Piscatella, Circana, the July data that we got. I thought this was pretty noteworthy. So for the month of July, tracking in the US, mind you, hardware unit sales fell 39% compared to July 2025. The average selling price of video game hardware jumped 16% to $542. That's the average price between all of them. PS5 unit sales were down only 6% compared to July 2025. Xbox Series dropped 18%, Switch 2 dropped 51%. Switch 2 had that big drop because that was like near launch, basically. And we've seen that Switch supply was like super front loaded. So Switch is still selling very, very well. But I mean, I know we're talking about $1,000 consoles, but John, I am legitimately shocked that unit sales are only down 6% compared to July 20. And this is a console that had a huge price increase, and it's this far into its life cycle. Like if PS5 was the same price that it was at launch, I would still think this 6% was impressive.
No, I think so. I think that is impressive.
I mean, that's 1 month, mind you, obviously, and we still have the rest of the year and the holiday season, and maybe the holidays you'll see a much steeper decline. But I mean, Christ, the thing is, it is still like a K-shaped economy, like. So I mean, sure, if the consoles do, like the new ones rather, are upwards of 1,000, I'm still somewhat bullish that it won't be as crazy as people think it is, but I'm sure it's still going to be quite high. But you know, there's a world where they still sell fine. Maybe not launch a line to PlayStation 5, but like this shit's getting normalized a lot, you know.
The average that Ampere is putting out, I mean, they got this thing at like Xbox Series lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, that would
Or
be rough.
Xbox One. I'm sorry, Xbox One is Xbox One, which is like that 50 to 60 million range for the lifetime.
Yeah. Well, you know, but not to downplay Ampere, but you know, obviously projections going out that far
Mm.
oftentimes can actually be kind of tough to do. You know, it's still
Mm.
important data that they're trying to analyze, but it's I don't know. I was pretty shocked by the July number. I'm like, oh my God, how is it only down that it's just like a mature console too?
Yeah. Do you think it has anything to do with GTA 6 at all?
Possibly. I mean, GTA 6 may very well be like, you know, sort of alleviating it as we get closer to that big day. But like the other thing I was saying about GTA 6 is like because there already are 90 million PS5s out there, I would actually kind of argue how many more are they really going to sell?
Oh,
I
for
mean,
the PS5?
yeah, well, PS4 lifetime's 117 million.
Yeah.
And we know GTA 5, for example, is a console heavy game. And PS4 was like the lead platform last gen.
Yep.
And you've only got 117 million PS4s out there. You know, like so I think when we're already at 90, you know, million plus PS5s, I'm just not so sure how many more PS5s we're going to sell even off the back of GTA 6. But that's
Yeah. I mean, it's going to depend on how much longer the PS5 is around and if they are, because I'm thinking the price is going to go up on the PS5 again next year. Like we might be sitting with a $700 disc base with the disc drive, might go with $50 PS5, which is crazy because that's what the PS5 Pro launched at, if everyone remembers that not too long ago. And I think once that PS5 goes up to 700, it's difficult to picture like a PS6 that wouldn't be less than $1,000. That's tough. But I'm curious because we see this small uptick in price, but then we also have GTA 6, which I do think at least helps to level out the impact of that price increase because it's such a generation defining game. Like it really is that situation of we haven't seen the last Grand Theft Auto since the end of the PS3 generation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such an outlier that's difficult to really judge with this whole thing. But it's coming at a great time for Sony. Like if GTA 6 wasn't there, I feel like this would be quite a bit more difficult.
I mean, they've got to be like somewhat still elated with the fact that this game's coming out and they've got this position that they have.
Oh yeah.
And this is a year where they're getting all these tariff refunds. You know, damn well we're not seeing any of that. So
no. What that is a little funny though that you think about it. Sony could have done that thing with the tariff because people are trying to figure out with these companies how would they even do that, because basically all the money went into a pool with them and they handed it all to the government, which went to another big pool, and then the government went, okay, here's all your money back in a big pool, and then they look around and go, how do we take these dollars and then hand them back to people versus everything. I get the logistics are crazy, and unfortunately no one thought of how you figure that out before they said that the tariffs were illegal. So I'm surprised Sony didn't go, you know what? Send out an email. Everyone can pick a game.
Really? You're surprised by that?
But they've done that before. Like where it's like companies have done that before. Like where there's a hack and there's an issue and they're like, hey.
Yeah, when they get caught with their pants down, sure.
This is a situation though where a lot of money changed hands and it's a digital switch that you flip. Like, come on.
I think I've seen some companies like announce kind of like a give back program, but
yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
Here's 5 games, pick one. Like
we weren't getting this money.
I'm just saying, here's 5 games, pick one. It's like, dude, it could have been like, oh, I guess I'll take Sackboy Big Adventure, whatever. At least it's something. Jeez.
Oh boy, no.
It wouldn't even cost them any money.
I don't know. I think we weren't getting that money.
I know. I know.
We weren't.
How much was it again? Wasn't it like $600 million?
I don't remember the number. I think it's contributing like 30-something% extra to their whatever their.
How much did Concord cost them?
We don't know, but arguably, yeah, definitely in the 7-figure ballpark. So 200 million plus.
Wasn't it some crazy like the number that I think was a Colin or somebody was like thrown around, right? It might have been like the $300 million ballpark range, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you picture some of the other live service games that fell through. We may have worked everyone to cover that, a good chunk of the live service missteps.
I mean, we've been subsidizing it.
We did it. Yeah, but
Actually,
this time we just actually did it. Like just
I was gonna say we aren't, presumably me, you, I would think most of the people in the chat here, lovely folks that are joining us tonight, because it's the live service top 10 black hole games. They are subsidizing all the other failures. They're the key revenue driver of PlayStation now.
That is true. That is true. We cost them money when get those physical games out of frame, Ryan.
No.
Given the lowest margin possible. What is this?
Think about covering these 2 doors here with more shelves.
More shelves?
Yeah.
Just no way out of the room ever.
Yeah.
Physical games everywhere.
That's a bathroom. Don't need to go there. And then I don't need to leave again. It's more of them.
It's all the way around.
Yep. Should build a library. Well, covered that. I still have a bunch of physical.
What do you think, Ryan? What do you think? When do you think this thing's coming out? The PS6.
I still think 27.
Next year, 28, 27. Okay, all right.
Hold on. I still think 27, but honestly, I think 28 is the right year. I think people would be fine with that extra year. I think PlayStation would probably want that extra year. I think 2028 would probably feel right. But a part of me still thinks it is 27.
So we're going to look towards CES 2027. That's January 6th to the 9th.
Well, that's what I was going to say at the top of all this, is that we will actually get our answer not that far away. Like, all it's going to take is like the first 2-ish months of next year. And if we don't see anything officially about PlayStation 6, it's 28.
If we don't even see a dev kit leak, the picture of the dev kit, which I would argue that if it's next holiday, we maybe see one before the end of this year.
I think it was one of my predictions or whatever in one of my videos. I think I thought we'll see a dev kit this year or something like that. But I think we only have to really wait until maybe February or March. But if we get to March 27, it's not happening.
Yeah. Here's a couple of chats for you, Ryan. Toasty says, I don't understand why they did previews for Wolverine. Insomniac doesn't care about getting feedback. They're too close to launch to change anything. They should have did previews a couple of years ago. I don't think they were looking for feedback with the previews. I think they were just marketing the game to us.
Yeah. Press previews are that's part of the marketing cycle. They're not looking for feedback at that point.
They've already focus grouped this thing. That's why there's yellow paint and red scent in the game. Someone in the focus group somewhere was like, where do I go? And they're like, at the running person. Where's the running person? Put some red scent in this game.
There you
go. SOK says, X-Men Origins Wolverine is the Citizen Kane of movies. Yeah. Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. Claw says, please do show us your PC games one day, John. I miss the nice boxes and manuals we used to get. I still have physical copies of my pre-Steam PC games. I did a video on it, and I don't know if people really cared about it, but it's out there. It's up on the channel. People can check it out. I showed Final Fantasy 7 on PC, Final Fantasy 8 on PC, the Grand Theft Auto 5 7-disc set.
That was a 7-disc set, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. And that's the fold open twice. Had some good ones in there. Far Cry on the original box copy of Far Cry is a good one. Link says, Ball Pit is the best cheap purchase I bought in a long time. Do it.
Got it on physical.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'd have to tear open my physical copy and insert a disc into my PlayStation to play it. And I didn't spend $5 on it. I spent like 20.
That's cool. I got the physical though. That's nice.
Yep, I do. Well, we are, very deep into this whole thing where PlayStation seemingly not backing down. So we did have lots of physical sales stuff still coming out. It's still kind of a whole back and forth thing, but I think it's always important to still highlight it. We had some metrics come out, from Christopher Dring of the Game Business, showing off some data tracked by Ampere Analysis up to June 2026, just as a demonstration of how, based on the game, based on the region, yes, it does still skew very physical. 68% of Astrobot sales in France were physical, 60% in Australia, 51% in the UK, 46% in Japan, 45% in Canada, and 35% in the US. And again, this is up to June of this year. Helldivers 2, however, benchmarking only the PS5 version, 17% in France, 16% Japan, 13% Australia, 12% in the UK, 8% in Canada, then 6% in the US. Other games like AC Shadows and RE Requiem, they also skewed very physical in those markets, the same markets. Like it was up to 50% in some cases for, again, France, Australia, Japan. They also showed off metrics for Black Myth Wukong, and that was for some reason similar to Helldivers 2. It was a much smaller ratio. I think that's because the disc also came out later for Black Myth, if I remember correctly. But it's the same tired conversation. I think it's always important to highlight that some games, some regions, it's a lot. Now, these countries also still represent like a lower sales volume of unit sales. So it's like I always try to tell people we don't have to lie. Physical is low. It's at an all-time low. But you still have these initial launch windows and sometimes sales legs where these games can still, there's very much an audience there. We're still talking about thousands, tens of thousands of discs, and they're stopping it early.
I can't believe I just came across this as we just left that topic. Got a news circulating right now that Amazon raised the price, like significantly raised prices on a lot of their hardware by upwards of 60%.
Oh, you're just now seeing that?
I just saw this pop up in my feed. It's funny as we were talking about,
you were doing?
My gosh. Yeah, because I was looking over the prices. Let me see where we are with this. Because I have a lot of these Amazon these products. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything I have back there went up. Like I have the Fire Stick and all this stuff because you can emulate off of it. That's a fun video someday. I'll do that. Now it's like I can't really recommend this thing anymore because it's so expensive now.
Yeah, I read that last night, I think, actually. I think the Kindles are up to like 150 or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're citing RAM shortages, and they're expecting throughout 2027 before hope that it could potentially crest and stabilize in 2028. Well, all right.
So that was your reaction to me reading physical news. Is that what happened there?
Yeah, I mean the physical stuff you're explaining, some of them aren't too surprising. I do believe that a lot of Sony's first-party games skew more physical than people think online because we get the ballpark image of overall revenue that's generated by these games. And even in Sony's own financials, they report gross for digital versus physical, where they just do royalty fees on that. So I think in general, first-party Sony games, which would be things like Astrobot, we saw that split. It may as well have been 50-50. God of War, and even Ghost of Yote, like a lot of these games do indeed skew. The one that I'd be really concerned about if I was a third party, because I think a lot of third parties are like, yes, let's go digital only. I think it's Square Enix with Final Fantasy. I'd be real concerned if I'm them with that. You gotta be careful.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like some games and for certain countries, like it's still a meaningful portion of the business. Like unit sales, globally speaking, they're smaller compared to like a key market like the US, for example. But it's just part of the argument. There's like always a gray area with the physical conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance in it.
It's low. It's at an all-time low. However, it's more than people tend to think it is for X, Y, and Z reasons. This is one of them. Another thing is like the Capcom numbers that came out, how they're like 90% plus, but it's like, that's all back catalog stuff.
Yes.
And physical games get one print, maybe another, very few games stay in retail. That's like your Minecraft, your Grand Theft Autos.
Yep.
But, there's also like a window where those games aren't being sold at retail anymore. So it's always that gray area.
I think Final Fantasy, though, in particular, is the audience has only gotten older, and I feel like Square Enix, they definitely know that. They have to know that. They have, I'm sure, a lot of the telemetry and data from customer reviews or surveys, or even people who are buying on their digital accounts and they, their age punched in. But I think in general, the Final Fantasy crowd that buys in, even day one, like enthusiasts, they kind of have that collector's mindset as well as, oh yeah, I used to buy these games as discs back in the day anyway. I'm going to keep doing that. And I think if you have a Final Fantasy fan who really wants to play Final Fantasy, they'll just buy it digitally. They will. I do think there's a mild bit of pause. I will admit. I do. I think there'd be a lot of disappointment too. That is a crowd that is of the old days. So, as best put it, the younger generation, I think now more than ever coming up, does not care that much about physical media. For the most part, I think there are still some that do care, but I gotta be real. A lot of them, I'm telling you, the Roblox, the Fortnites, all that stuff has kind of taken hold, and they just don't care that much about things like Final Fantasy, like we used to back in the day.
I'm pretty sure it was also Matt that put out that metric that for US players of US buyers of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, he said it was like I think half of those, like, they were over 30 at the age of 30.
Yep.
And he's
Final
like,
Fantasy
if you bump it
people
up,
are old, man.
yeah. So
Sorry, we're old.
Yep.
And you know, Square actually made a good point about this. And it was in an interview. I have to go back and see who exactly said it at Square, but it was the sense that these games take a while to come out now. So if you are growing up, you get one Final Fantasy in your life, in your like your childhood, maybe two. If one comes out at a great time for it, like, hey, you're 10 and this Final Fantasy game shows up, you might get another one before you get out of high school. You know what I mean? So you'll get another one that shows up. Whereas back in the day, we went from 97 or something to 2001, and we had like 4 or 5 Final Fantasy games come out. It was crazy. Yeah. One year 9 came out, the next year 10. What a jump! But it happened all in like 14 months.
I would make the case that that's for everything. Like, kids don't do what we did, which was buy a game, finish it, play another one.
Or rent game, finish it, play another one. That's what I did. Rent game, finish it, take it back.
That too. That's
worked
what
well.
Kids aren't doing that. Kids aren't doing that. All right, we are at 2 hours and 4. We got a lot more to go here. We'll go through this real quick. I did want to call this out. The VR game showcase did have some PSVR 2 announcements in there.
Okay.
Do want to highlight those. We actually mentioned VR 2 earlier. So it's important to mention VR 2 still getting games. Bootstrap Island, that came out on PSVR 2, Out of Sight for VR. The PSVR 2 version is scheduled for holiday this year. We have Zero Caliber 2 Remastered coming to PSVR 2 this October. And then Flat to VR, which great company because they're like converting all those flat screen games to VR. They're doing this new initiative called Unlock the Vault. Every time they do that, they're going to be announcing an existing VR game, getting a VR 2 version. So they started off with Drop Dead The Cabin. That is already, it's coming out in 3 days at the time of filming. And then they announced High on Life VR. That is getting a PSVR 2 version, and also System Shock VR, which that's sick. That is a big generational, it's a pretty big deal to have that game in VR. I love that. And I'm rooting for them to hopefully get BioShock.
I do think it's interesting that we still are seeing I can't imagine that's a big market on PSVR 2 right now, but it's interesting we still see a fair amount of games go.
Oh yeah.
To the platform.
The thing is, VR 2 is very similar to PS Vita in the sense that, it's the install base is not big, but the users that are active on that are very sticky. So very they turn up and buy games, That's why there was a healthy indie scene on Vita because just your costs were pretty low, so it didn't matter if you only sold 1,000 copies. That was enough for you to make money. It's not like I'm not saying VR is exactly like that, but there's certainly some analogies to be drawn in that circumstance. We also have the Phantom Blade Zero State of Play. What'd you think of that, John?
I was pretty happy with it. I'm picking that one up right away when it drops.
Looks good.
Some questions about that though. There might not be a physical copy, and that's kind of a shame. It's $60 though, I think. So it's not even gonna be like a full 70 on that, which is interesting because the game looks really high quality. So I don't know if that's them thinking that maybe as a first game for them, kind of, that they want to put out there as I don't know, just entice people to buy in more, or if it's kind of like, hey, the game isn't some super long epic title necessarily, but what they've shown, the choreography, the creativeness around the enemies, especially the bosses, and it's not necessarily a pure Souls game experience. They're still saying it's more action based for combat, but it does kind of lean a little bit into the Souls exploration, which tells me it's not going to be as much. When I hear that, it's more it's not going to be super handholdy necessarily. It's going to be more so make your own adventure, find your own way kind of thing. and I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. So I like what I'm seeing though. It looks interesting, and I'll pick it up right away.
They did confirm it's got multiple settings. You can play it like in a very hard way. They have a mode called 66 days where the entire game, that's your max amount of times you can die.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a cinematic mode. Just go through it and just have your fun with it.
So like they have like a super like kind of like an easy mode.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Then we had the new Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, which was pretty sick because that was we were going into that D23 Kingdom Hearts panel thing, like they're probably going to show more. They did. They showed a pretty significant trailer featuring Pixar's Coco, and it is coming out late 2027. The series creator Tetsuya Nomura explained that launch window is 100% certain. That's huge.
Yeah, that is big.
I mean, we were waiting for that for a long time.
Getting in under the cutoff too.
Yeah, that's huge. Actually, I didn't even think of that. They're going to be able to put out a disc.
Getting in right under the cutoff.
Right in the cut. Yeah. Well, it also showed beautiful. Pixar's Coco is like, it just looked with the lights and everything. It was just a really great presentation.
It's a good setting. It is a good setting for Kingdom Hearts. Yes. Sora didn't look really out of place or anything necessarily, and that's gonna be a really good looking world. People are also trying to figure out what other worlds could be in it. You have any hopes or guesses, Ryan?
The thing about me and Kingdom Hearts is that like I don't really care for Disney like that, but I like Kingdom Hearts, so I don't really.
I mean, people just say Star Wars and move on. Like everybody wants Star Wars would get the biggest reaction. Obviously, it would. So that's what I would assume it'd be. It would be that.
Well, the thing about like Square is that they show so much of their games before it comes out. So if they have something big, I think they're gonna drop that before they launch it.
Radic is really on the Simpson World thing.
Simpsons World, really?
I mean, technically they could do it. They could.
I you know what? I think that'd be funny just because it would be so unheard of, like what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, Moana. I think Moana seems very obvious. So I would expect that to be in the game. The Simpsons would be such an interesting random thing. I wouldn't even mind if they didn't want to go full bore with the Simpsons, if that was like almost an Easter egg kind of level where you're there for maybe one room and it's like a little secret thing that you find. Even that would be kind of cool. But there's a lot of cool stuff they can do, and they can play around with reveals as they work up to that, what I think is a late 2027 release. And that means the next year is set up nicely for Square Enix. I mean, they have two big pillar games, conclusion of Final Fantasy VII's trilogy, and then they have Kingdom Hearts 4. And I'm sure they'll have some other smaller games like Your Adventures Elliot or something thrown in there, something like that. So
it's forgetting that game exists.
Square's on a nice upswing right now. So I gotta give them credit.
Yeah, they're in a good spot right now. Well, with that in mind, I also have the PlayStation Productions news. Ryan Hurst is out. Dude tore his bicep. Apparently can't do it anymore. Dave Bautista is officially Kratos.
Yep.
Damn, son. Damn, son.
I mean, that really is like the show must go on news right there. I guess. Yeah.
I somewhat like, I don't. It feels like heavy speculation territory, but I almost feel like what if they really did want to just get Hurst out of there because Batista's such a household name.
I mean, it does seem kind of strange that I get a torn bicep. If let's say he's in the NFL or he's doing, I don't know, I guess even wrestling because it's Batista is wrestling or something, but like those kinds of activities I get it, you go, he's out, legit out for half a year or something. But like in acting, I don't know. I feel like you can kind of work around it after a few months, right? This doesn't seem like a situation where they'd have to delay production by a year or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something odd about that they couldn't say, oh, you know what, we'll meet back. We'll get back together in 3 months. I don't know. You're right. It does seem a little off when I read that. And I go, really, the torn bicep made them go, this is it. We have to recast him and reshoot all these other scenes we've already done. It's like, really?
I don't know. It's weird. It makes me like raise an eyebrow, but I will say, Ryan Hurst had put out like a mirror selfie. Did you see that? He put out like a mirror selfie And I'm like,
You know,
oh, that
yeah, they did
that's
it. They shouldn't have put out that other picture.
it's so weird how like psychologically I think we work like that because that's such a candid like photo. Nothing is professional about that photo, but everyone's like, now that looks like Kratos because he like looks more menacing.
Looks
And then
real.
the other one kind of looks like, like bad cosplay or something. And
The other one looked AI generated. Like, come on, like, didn't it? Didn't it? The one you
I
showed in
would
the
say
mirror, it's got
I
veins going through and stuff. It looks real, dude.
I wouldn't say AI generated, but
Might have been some AI in there.
no, I think the accuracy was like, oh, it looks like a cosplay, like somebody
I
did
mean,
a cosplay.
he's the one to reply and was like, "Don't believe everything you see on the internet." That's what you say when there's some AI in front of you.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
saying. I'm just
All
saying.
right,
It
well,
looks so different.
so do we think Batista's got it? You think he's
I
got
think he'll
going to
be
do a good
fine.
job?
Yeah, he's a good actor. I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And he's got the body type obviously for it. So
I think
it's
yeah,
just more of a shame.
I think he can definitely do it. I mean, he said he'd wanted to like do more serious roles and he has been. So it's kind of like a best of both worlds, right? Doing like a Drax type character, but actually he's like seriously a narratively interesting character to do now.
Yeah, as long as it's just still that thing of you're gonna see him and be like, oh, there's Batista, not oh, there's Kratos. So
Well, I mean, we covered the major PlayStation specific stories now, so we're obviously getting pretty late here. So if we want to, I think we have one more chat to clear up and we'll get on out of here.
you got to do PSX gonna give it to you, sir. Hold on one second.
Of course.
Cool Rip says Elden Ring update. I suck. LMAO. Keep going for it, man. You know what? You're gonna die in these Souls games. It's you see the end of that Sony video they put out. It's about persistence. Stick with it. Stick with it. Beat your head against the wall until you get through. No, I know it's blood, but like in general, it's about persistence. Okay,
it's about persistence.
Beat your head against the wall until you get through. You will eventually. Trust. And the nice thing about Elden Ring is you can just go off in another direction. Maybe find something cool. Maybe you just take out a bunch of enemies and level up. There are so many ways you can make yourself stronger before you go back to that boss that's killing you.
The problem is when you explore, you die exploring.
Well, yeah, but the
shit.
thing with Elden Ring that I've noticed, I'm playing a lot of Mortal Shell too. The thing I've noticed about Elden Ring now more than ever, as I've kind of moved on from it to other Souls-like games, Elden Ring is very, very generous with like their bonfires. They're everywhere. So there's usually one around you somewhere that's not too far off that you can farm around.
Well, I do still have to actually play the game myself, so I can't even talk shit.
You need to play. I can't believe this. You need to play that. Go and start it up now.
Because it's too long. I mean, dude, if I start games like that, I don't want to do anything else, and I got shit to do. You know.
But yeah, GTA 6 is your next game. That's November. Well, no, Wolverine's your next game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Wolverine would be next.
Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I wouldn't start Elden Ring then if it's gonna be like that.
I expect Wolverine's probably going to be like a 30-ish hour platinum, maybe even less.
I figure that game's like 14 hours long, something like that.
I mean, I'm being generous. I would think it's probably going to be shorter than that. It depends on how much extra shit they throw in there.
You mean the extra stuff, right? I'm picturing because it's a linear game and not open world, you'll have collectibles, but it'll be a pretty easy teleport back to these levels, pick up collectibles, move on to the next one. I wouldn't be shocked if that's a 20-hour platinum.
Well, I think my Rift Apart platinum was like 15 hours.
Yeah, that's what mine was. Yeah.
Well, and I'm inclined to say, like, I think Wolverine might be like a little bit longer than that. So maybe 20 on the fast end. And then depending on how much extra shit there is in there, maybe you can like get it up to 25, 30.
You know what the last trophy was I needed in that Ratchet and Clank game was to just sit down on the couch and watch TV. I completely forgot to do that.
I forgot that was a trophy.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was just for some reason always stuck in my mind. It's like the easiest one. It wasn't the arena stuff or anything. Nope. Sit on the couch. It's like, no. And the platinum pop, which I think I have the screenshot of me sitting on the couch with the platinum dropping. So
well, that's a good one to do. The Frank Fun account wanted to. There you go.
Safe bet. State of play. Same week as TGS. 3-ish weeks from now. I think there would be a state of play going into Tokyo Game Show. Yes. Tokyo Game Show. This is going to be the biggest one apparently they've ever had. And it's going to be coming up right after Gamescom. So I think they're going to sit a state of play neatly between the two of them.
Sony will be there again. So I think it's probably a good bet.
Yep. I would expect it.
All right. You ready, John?
I am ready.
All right. folks, it is time for PS, the topic of the show, where we go over something cool, old, unique, nostalgic about PlayStation history, teach the kiddos maybe something they didn't know about PlayStation. I've been getting a lot of accusations that I'm not doing enough obscure PlayStation facts around here. Everybody knows that, Ryan. Okay, well, did you know this? When did the PlayStation 2 come out in Brazil?
Ooh, I don't know. When did it come out in Brazil?
2009.
Wow, that's late. That's late. It was really popular. Wasn't it really popular in Brazil, though?
So officially, that's the thing, right? As far as currency, like the import cost, like there was a black market for it, and granted, I'd never even been to Brazil, so I'm just telling people what I've heard, but I would think it was very much a thing. PS2 was probably a very big black market console around that time. It did not officially launch with like a proper retail presence, MSRP, late 2009, and it cost equivalent here $461 USD.
Jeez, it's just because of all like the import fees and tax and all that stuff that you have to pay. Is that why?
It was just, as far as I know, that's a problem with Brazil. Again, I'm not a local resident, so I certainly don't want to talk like I know, but in fact, I do want to I think it was October 2009. So what I'm going to do here.
What are the launch games?
That I don't know, but I'm going to adjust for inflation with a quick calculator. So if USD, it was 461 in October 2009. In today's money, that would be $712.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see if we can find any launch time. I'm genuinely curious what if you had to go in 2009, what you would launch with.
Sure. If you were like a goody two shoes about it, like I'm gonna, I'm well off here. I don't want to buy a black market PS2. I want to like properly buy the thing,
right?
Even though I have a computer at home and I've seen that people are playing PlayStation 3 now at this point for 3 years.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, hold on, but the PS3 could play PS2 games.
Well, that's what's so funny about the whole thing. This speaks more to PS2's like legs on the market, obviously.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I just been curious what the lineup, like you walk into the store and it's official. The PS2 is out and you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and what the lineup looks like when you walk into the store to get your PS2 in terms of games. I guess probably like FIFA at the time. That would have been an obvious one. I don't know.
Like what's a late life cycle but known PS2 game? Like Persona 3? Persona 4 was 2008, I think.
Let's see.
Persona 4 was 2008, I believe. Yep, July 2008.
Okay, here we go. I found a press release. Is it? Here it is. Okay. Brazil set to receive PS2 with open arms. November 19th, 2009. Over 14 hit software titles are available for purchase in Brazil. This includes PlayStation 2 titles such as Gran Turismo 4. That makes sense. God of War 2. Okay, those are the ones they listed. Okay. Let's see. Jet Li Rise to Honor.
I feel like you kind of had to be there to like to definitely get the full like lineup.
Killzone.
Oh, Killzone. Okay.
Ratchet and Clank, Size Matters. Does that sound right? Shadow of the Colossus. SOCOM 3? Huh. Interesting.
Well, for people asking, what PS3 was like the following year, like officially. So, because I think that was also around the time that they moved manufacturing of PS3s to Brazil.
Okay, here's a list of games that were out in Brazil right at the end of 2019. It's 2009. It's funny because they also have it listed next to PS3 games that were out at the time.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. There's Shadow of the Colossus.
They moved PS3 manufacturing in 2013. Yeah, that was closer to PS4. That was like they were just doing super slums over there.
That's not a bad That's not a bad lineup. That's not a bad lineup.
Yeah, but for a console that had fucking thousands of games at that point.
Yeah, no, that's true. If there's 14 games, it's like okay. Yeah. Should just imported the thing.
Yep, 2009.
Dude, that's so funny, man. That is super random, by the way. Somebody said that
And
the Switch was launched in Indonesia. It's like, oh,
well,
okay, yeah. I guess that's
and
still happen.
that's why Brazil actually got a PS2 Netflix disc.
The illustrious Netflix disc.
Netflix disc for a PlayStation 2 in Brazil.
Do you have that?
I do not have that, no, but it's a thing. Netflix came to PS2 in Brazil.
Is region locked, I guess.
I imagine around the same time.
That'd be interesting just to see. I've been curious what Netflix looked like on the PS2.
Yeah, this was released in 2011 was the Netflix disc.
Okay.
So 2 years later.
It's an interesting thing. PS2 just years later.
Oh God, Netflix shut it down a year later.
Oh, wow. I guess no one used it. I mean, the PS3
disc,
was there, so.
You get the disc for PS2. You get to use it for a fucking year, and then they shut it down.
Man. Hey, random facts with Ryan.
Hey, hopefully some more obscure facts. Sometimes we have to just cover historically significant things. That's why sometimes we're just doing the obvious ones. But trust me, I got some weird ones for you too.
All right, good stuff. I think I got all the chats here. Ended up being a 3-hour episode.
God damn.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Shout out to all the people who hung out with us tonight. It will it'll be obviously posted up on demand if people want to watch it on YouTube. I also posted over on Spotify. If people want to watch it there, you can. I was looking at Apple Podcasts as well. I think they have a whole video audio thing going on there now as well. A lot of these platforms are waking up to this now. So just put it on more places for people to check it out, I guess. So I will look into that for people who are asking about it on Apple. But for now, Spotify and Netflix, or Spotify, Netflix, maybe Netflix someday. We'll see. Spotify and YouTube for now. So that's Ryan. Any last words for the good people, Ryan?
Buy physical.
There you go. Buy physical. Buy physical. Actually, when's hold on. Gamescom is tomorrow. But
that's right. Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, yeah. So Wolverine will still be pretty decently far off next time we're up. Okay, that's cool. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. That was Click R3 number 52. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.